All right, you should hear me now. Sorry, put myself on mute. It's been a minute. Sorry about that. But welcome everybody. Welcome to my live stream, the first one of 2026. It's this is the first stream I'm having since my little health scare back in Christmas time. But I'm happy to be back. I'm happy to have you guys all here. Welcome. Thank you guys for joining. As you guys know, what a great day to do my first live stream. And we got Blackmagic's official update. As you guys will see here, I've got this on watch, on standby, ready to go when everything kicks off. We're going to, right now, we're going to just do a little bit of 30 minutes of sort of pre-gram, sort of talking. Thinking that I'd love to hear from you guys. What do you think is coming? What do you think is announcing? Will Blackmagic announce continuous autofocus for their RGBW sensors? Their Ursa Cine 12K, maybe their Ursa Cine 17K, but of course the one I think we all are excited and would love to hear that it will come true to fruition is the Pixis 12K. I know I am. In fact, I have the Pixis 12K right here. And just to show you guys that I am very serious about this, that let's see how many people are in the chat. Actually, I'll hold off on that because I want to see how many people are in the chat right now. Give a shout out if you guys are here and you're here in the chat. Right now, we got 11 concurrent viewers. Thank you guys. Thank you, especially since this is my first time back in a while. Is the stream froze? I hope the stream hasn't frozen on you guys. Oh no, it's extremely delayed. So forget what I'm saying. But yeah, thank you guys for joining and thank you guys for having me here. I am, but so 11 people here. I would love to hear from you. What do you think is announced? I will say this: if Blackmagic does announce continuous autos for the Pixis 4K, and they announce not only is they're actually doing it, they're actually putting continuous autofocus in their Pixis 12K, but it will, if it becomes live as of today, if that does happen, and if it does happen during this stream, I will actually update my Pixis 12K live, and I will do a live demo of the continuous autofocus once Blackmagic stream is complete. So just so you guys can see, oops, wrong one. Oops, I meant to put that one, this one. But yeah, I got the Pixis 12K all set up, ready to go. And like I said, I'm ready to test out the autofocus if need be. So let's see what we got here. Um, Relax with me. Thank you for joining, man. Please announce Pixis 12K firmware update. Yes, I think that is the thing that I think everybody is probably the most interested and most hoping that we will see. And actually, I'm gonna turn this off and turn this off for the time being. So conserve power. But yeah, I agree. I hope Blackmagic does announce firmware and we will get autofocus on this guy right here. I think that's the big thing that I think. Well, honestly, continuous autofocus. Like, if they announce just not only on their RGBW sensors that we get Pixis continuous autofocus on the Pixis 12K and the Ursa Cine 12K and maybe even the 17K, but if they announce it for like all of the recent, the more modern cameras. So anything I think from Pocket 4K onward, if all of those get continuous autofocus, I think that will, if they don't announce a new camera, I think that will be enough to get everybody excited. So I hope so too, man. I really, really, really hope so. Carla in San Diego, where in the world is Carla in San? I had to do it. Sorry. You threw my '90s nostalgia back at me with that name. But Carlin, thank you for joining, man. Do you think Blackmagic heard my plea for an RGBW sensor on a Pixel 7K 6.9 capture for those who can't waste storage on 8K and 12K? So I'll get into that because right now, hopefully the poll went live, but I do have a poll. I'm hoping that generated in terms of autofocus, and definitely chime in. It's still okay. Interestingly enough, why is that not showing? That's weird. Here we go. All right. So yeah, I have a poll out right now. Will Blackmagic announce autofocus for their RGBW sensors? It's yes, Pixis Ursa City AF babe, come in baby. Yes, AF for all current gen. Basically, that means yes, they're going to announce autofocus from the Pocket 4K all the way up to their flagship current lineup. And no, so right now nobody thinks that they're not going to announce it. So that's very exciting. And I'm really interested in seeing that. I don't know about cameras, but I'll get to that in just a bit. Let's go through some more of these. But in terms of if you don't want to use a lot of storage, on the Pixis 12K, you can shoot 4K. Like on this guy, I think I've only touched 8K on one project. And it was only for a very short amount of time. But I pretty much shoot almost exclusively 4K on this guy. I don't touch 12K at all. It's not even in my realm of conversation. And I've only dabbled a little bit in the 8K. And really, the one I've actually used the most is probably the 9K Super 35 option. That's not 4K. 4K is like 98% of what I shoot with this camera. But so, and you can get like almost 5 hours on a 512 gigabyte in Q5 in 4K mode. And that's open gate, by the way. Hey, Riz, long time no see. Good to see you. Also, hoping they do for a newly designed pocket camera. Definitely, we'll look. That would be interesting to see. I'll give my thoughts on cameras in a bit. Shub Hapra Taps. Sorry, man, if I butchered it, but hoping to see the B-Raw media extension plugin for Final Cut Pro launch and ProRes RAW support on all Blackmagic cameras. That's actually one I think that's also a potential that we may be seeing is that Blackmagic, because they already kicked off with the Pocket 4K, that's potentially something that's also in the works, which is ProRes RAW announcement on all their cameras. I think there's going to be a lot of software camera updates coming with this announcement. And I think that's definitely up in the realms. Final Cut Pro launch plugin. To me, that seems like that's an Apple. That really is on Apple's end. It's not necessarily on Blackmagic end. But I'm sure they work, but Blackmagic works with Apple a lot, so I'm assuming they will. Uh, Michael, what's up, man? Thank you for joining me. Appreciate it. Uh, yeah, if the sensor is down separate from 7K all the way down to 2.3, it would be more useful. I get that. I totally, I can understand that. But let's see here. Gabriel, what's up, man? What's up? How you doing? All right, let's see here. Yeah, they have. That is true. They have to pay. They would have to pay a license for ProRes. Jonathan, all the way from UK. What's up, man? Thank you, man. Thank you for stopping by. So yeah, like I said, we are. Let's see where we are right now. We are 20 minutes from the announcement update. So just a quick thing. So just to make sure YouTube doesn't come at me for copyrighted, I will be, talking as Grant's going, just so YouTube doesn't pound me for watching the stream and pause. let me stop that. But doesn't penalize me. And so I'm going to be talking out of context because I know in a previous stream that maybe this. So if you don't want to have me hear me talk, totally fine. Just have the stream set aside and you can listen and we'll still watch along and you can still conversate in the chat. But I just wanted to point that out for a second. So again, cameras. I know that's a thing everybody's excited about. Is cameras? What's possibly a new camera? New Pixis camera. Maybe a redesign of the Pocket kind cameras. So I'm going to be honest with you guys, and I kind of mentioned this in Kofi's live stream just a little bit ago. If I'm going to be real, this maybe is, I don't know if we'll be seeing a new camera announced for today. The main reason is that if you're not familiar with the situation with the SSDs, there's a massive chip shortage that are primarily designed for SSDs, and chip shortages that also relate to cameras, but basically, and also SSDs are being bought up like crazy by AI data centers, to the point that I think a good amount of the large SSD manufacturers have pretty much said, we're not making any more SSDs available for the remainder of this year. Like for 2026, they're not releasing or putting out any more SSDs because the orders are so filled up that they're basically backlogged, I believe, until sometime in between next year, if at that. So because of that, I feel like and it's not just Blackmagic, but I think with a lot of camera manufacturers, I think they're going to scale back because the last thing, especially if you're going to be launching a new camera product, Blackmagic knows this for sure, is that having delays can really, really upset, can really leave a bad taste in a lot of people's mouth. And it's just going to be a fact that for a lot of cameras that will be announced this year, if they were to be announced and released this year, there's probably not enough already made that could fill the orders to cover a lot of the orders. So I think most and this is based on what I'm even seeing from other camera manufacturers, but I think most of them, including Blackmagic, are going to scale back on anything that doesn't have any new bodies or things like that. I think they're just going to scale back and not touch them. Again, I could be very wrong because Blackmagic loves keeping everything close to the chest. So I could be completely wrong with that. But if I had to take a guess, this year is going to be more quality of life and updates to all their current cameras that they have already released. So like autofocus, I think continuous autofocus is going to be the big one that is going to be more out, that is going to go beyond the cinema camera 6K as well as the Pixel 6K. Because if that was the big reveal for this year, Blackmagic would not have announced that beta update for the Pixel 6K like a month before NAB. They would have saved it for today. So I do believe whatever they're announcing that is camera related is going to be huge. I think so. I think continuous autofocus is coming to multiple cameras outside of the cinema camera 6K and the Pixis 6K, and I do believe, I hope to God that it is the Pixis 12K. I also think that they're going to update a lot of their cameras to now start shooting ProRes RAW into their cameras natively. So ProRes RAW updates, I don't know if it will come to the RGBW sensors because those cameras are specifically designed through the workflow of Blackmagic RAW. And I think Grant Penny and others have been very, very critical. Every single time it's been brought up, it's the old RGBW sensors are designed specifically to work with Blackmagic RAW. So I think all the non-RGBW cameras, their Ursa Mini Pros, their Pocket line of cameras, I think all of those, maybe even the Cinema Camera 6K full frame, are going to get ProRes RAW as an update. And then I got a really, really left field announcement because I think autofocus is going to be the big thing in terms of camera related. I personally think that Blackmagic may announce their own set of lenses. It could just be EF and maybe PL or LPL but there's potentially maybe their own lenses for L mount. But I know the process for that is a lot more complicated because you have to go through Leica and there's a whole procedure. Maybe they've already done it, but given the fact that they're making a big splash already on autofocus, it only makes sense that they would start developing their own lenses that sort of benefit their cameras. So, for example, like most of the L-mount glass does not have optical image stabilizations in their lenses because obviously Lumix has their own stabilized lenses. So because Blackmagic doesn't have IBIS, in their cameras, but because Blackmagic doesn't have IBIS in any of their cameras, it makes sense for them to probably develop their own lenses that can work with their autofocus and also bring stabilization. The other part is that with the Ursa Cine 17K, the fact that they made an effort to make that affordable. I know a $25,000 camera being affordable seems excessive, but given the fact that you couldn't really buy a medium format cinema camera prior to the Ursa Cine 17K and the Eterna, but the access of lenses that could work with these lenses is very limited and also very pricey. So that is something that I think that could be announced, that they may be venturing into their own lenses as well. So, but I would love to know what you guys think about this. So let's go through the comments as we still have 13 minutes. So, here we go. Davinci Resolve paid upgrade. I mean, I would not be surprised if there is a paid upgrade. If they start doing paid upgrade, I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing as long it's not subscription based. If it's something where it's like, okay, I have to pay a one-time fee to upgrade, sure, I'll do sure. As long as this doesn't become a full-on subscription base. And I think obviously Resolve is always a big, huge update around NAB time. So I would expect some sort of like Resolve 21. I expect Resolve 21 to be an update. So I wouldn't be surprised. I hope not. I hope we still get a free update, obviously. But I'm just saying I wouldn't be surprised. And given the fact that they've let you work with this thing for a one-time payment of $300 for X amount of years, this is I think, you know, a one-time paid upgrade. I think I'm okay with that. But I would love to know, would you guys be okay if there's a one-time payment? I would love to know what you guys think. Shipping complications are so unpredictable right now. I'm sure companies are too nervous to promise anything. Exactly, and that's my main reason why I'm not so sure we'll see a new camera come out, because right now there's some niche cameras that they could probably develop, and I think that could build maybe like a redesign of the pocket line that sort of is more truly more like a mirrorless style camera. I sure a Pixis with a like a Super 35 with faster frame rate speeds. These are all things that are optional, but given the current lineup that they have, they are already so good. It's going to be really, really hard, especially for it's going to be really, really hard to really, if anybody bought these cameras, to move off. Like, I'll be honest, if Blackmagic was to announce a Pixis Pro that had built-in NDs with the same 12K sensor and maybe a few frame rates, a better processor, a little bit bigger body, and they release it, I'll be honest with you, and it has continuous autofocus, I'll be honest with you, I won't update. I wouldn't. This guy right here is pretty much all I need in the moment. So because it's so the Pixel 12K is so damn good, it's really hard for me to see how you can entice people enough to upgrade from a camera like this. That's me personally. I know everybody's needs are different. I just can only speak for and vouch for myself. I don't think lenses are on the table. That's totally fine. It's just, again, that one is like, I think that one has always been my way out of left field prediction, mainly because it is something that does make sense. Making medium format or like real large format lenses more accessible would be something that would benefit them. Again, but there's no basis. I agree. There's no basis for it. It's just my 2 cents. Blackmagic, I don't think they want to be in that space. I don't know if I agree with you, Trevor. Mainly because the fact that they've entered in the 65 millimeter, and the fact that there's so much limitations on accessibility of lenses to cover such a large sensor, it only makes, I think it would make sense for them to explore the option. And look, again, the issue with the L mount is that the L mount is not diverse enough, in my opinion, that creates the best benefit for Blackmagic for their cameras. If we're trying to maximize the capabilities of their cameras, because I don't think you're going to get stabilized lenses out of Lumix, because they're going to focus more on their IBIS. And Sigma and them are going to all focus that way too. If Blackmagic can build lenses that are their own and that could be stabilized, which would benefit their cameras, I think it makes the most sense. I don't know if for L mount, I don't know if it's super crowded, because really it's Lumix, Sigma, and Leica, and then a few other ones. But again, they're many. I'm talking about like autofocus capable lenses. There's actually not that many in the L mount, at least diversity. I think especially optical, L mount actually has the least amount of lenses that have optical image stabilization in them. Like Canon and Sony double the amount of stabilized lenses in their ecosystem versus L mount. So I don't see Lumix doing it because they have the best IBIS, so it's not beneficial for them. No one in the pro space would be interested in Blackmagic glasses. It depends. I'll say this. If, in terms of L mount lenses, I agree with you. I do think, though, that solo shooters that want to make something like the Pixis 12K or the Pixis 6K a solo shooter, and there's a lot of us in that, it is very beneficial. It would be beneficial. I disagree with you in terms of the large format, the medium format, because again, there's already a limited, there's not that many really accessible lenses outside of Fujifilm, but that's their own mount ecosystem. So in terms of like PL, there isn't a lot. So, and the ones that are there are like very pricey and very expensive. The only ones I could think of off the top of my head are like Dulens with their Cambria lenses. So this is something that I think they would benefit from. 7 minutes, people. So I'll try to run through these really quickly. Maybe better to partner with an existing limb company like Surrey or a smaller Chinese company. I agree. That's definitely possible, and I think that's something that they can do. I think that's. I believe. What was that? Some Cambodian company a Cambodian company did that. They partnered with Surrey for that. I can't forget it. A power zoom lens is really needed for L mount, especially if they see Pixis as a potential ENG camera fit for the A-tips. Totally, exactly. Again, there's the only thing that the L mount is diverse on is manual. In terms of manual glass, yes, but in terms of like actual working electronic lenses, it's actually very, very limited compared to other ecosystems like Canon and Sony, who have a vast array in this, and they're way ahead of them in that. So I'm 100% with Jonathan on this. So now I see a small 4K 6K camera with autofocus and stabilization. I just don't, look, it's possible. I will say this, anything is possible. Anything is possible. Spurs are number 2 from being completely limited, non-factor, to the second best team in the NBA. So anything is possible. But I will say this, I don't know. Again, due to the larger macro situation, I don't know if this will be the case, but I will not be, I would love it if I'm wrong. I just don't see them doing IBIS. More codecs and a readout beyond that, maybe ports. Yeah, I agree. Taz, I totally 100% agree with you. New updated external recording monitor. Yes, I think that is long overdue. I think the video sys definitely need to be up. But I've sort of given up because I've been calling them to update these for like 3 years straight, and I've been wrong. So I'm at a point where I'm like, if they happen, it's cool. Is there a lens company they could buy? I mean, sure. The question is, I don't know if they would. I think partnership will probably be a little bit better, but we'll see. There should be a Mini that is a response to the Rode, built-in audio switching. I agree. 100% agree with that. Expecting some huge upgrades to Davinci Resolve. I totally agree. We haven't really seen a lot with a lot of their AI portions that they were sort of hinting at last year. So I totally expect to really see a lot more of that AI portion of it. Some things I would love to see is sort of some more quality life updates to the Magic Mask, as well as a lot more update to that IntelliScript, that it gets that can make it even more easier to sort of build out a foundation of an edit. So those are the things I would love to see. Let's see here. 3.5 minutes left. Maybe they have a new LiDAR unit. I mean, it's possible. It's definitely possible. Resolve AI integration will be the biggest announcement. Probably some workflows master. Yeah, I think that is absolutely on the table. True. Risk camera control for the video sys. Yes, 100% risk. I agree with you. It is time. It is time. Camera control should absolutely be on the table. It's a long shot, but I do wish they would update the ATEM Extreme with at least 3 SDI ports and 4 HDMI ports. Yeah, you already know I'm with you. It's funny. I'm kind of doing a bypass because with the Pix 12K only being SDI, I'm running SDI into there, and then I am, because of the I'm right now doing a wireless transmission to with the Axu CineView, and because it automatically can cross out, so I'm sending an HDMI out into the H2 Mini. So it seems to be working really good. All right, we're down to the final 2 minutes. Let's see here. I would love to know. Okay, if let me know if you guys think, are they going to announce a new camera? Put yes, and then tell me what you think the what do you think the announced camera is going to be? Uh, so we'll see. Also, just if guys, if there's any of you guys, if this is your first time doing a Blackmagic live stream, just be aware the camera stuff is always at the end because they know that's what everybody's waiting for. So they say that all for the very last thing, which could be well over an hour, depending on how many products that they have. Um, I do find it interesting that they have announced that they did this announcement so early, but I think there is something big coming. The reason why is I think they did this announcement early so people wouldn't see the banners that are being put up in NAB. Because if you're not familiar, Blackmagic is, if not the biggest, one of the biggest sponsors of NAB. So they get the largest floor space, but they also get their banners up. And given what happened last year with the Pixis 12K, people got there early and saw the banners being put up, which let us know that, yes, a Pixis 12K was coming. So my guess is that they're doing this early because they do have something big coming that they're going to announce, but they don't want the banners happening. But we shall see. 40 minutes. So I'm going to go get ready. If you guys have if there's issue with the sound, please let me know. I'll make adjustments as we go. But I'm going to bring myself down. And let's cut to the pop-in. Here we go. And let's see. Hopefully I can actually go full screen eventually. And let me actually I'm gonna move myself over here. Up, and here we go. Yeah, wow, they're really going epic. They're really trying to go epic with this. That's better sound a little bit. Okay, all right, chill, Blackmagic, chill. Harlan says the Pixis 7K. Yes, they're going to release a new Pocket 4K. All right. They're going to do so image, Michael says 4K or 6K mirrorless like the S1 too. Okay. I'm trying. For some reason, it won't let me go full. It won't let me go full screen yet. Oh, here we go. Now, that was weird. It didn't let me do that. All right. I got it full screen, so hopefully that takes care of it. Yeah, they're trying to go heavy with this. I, yeah, I hope they start with Resolve too. But you know they're going to go through their broadcast products first.
Hi, I'm Graham from Blackmagic Design, and I wanted to give you a bit of an update on what we have
All
for
right, let me
this
know
year.
how the sound goes.
There's quite a few exciting new products. We've got a whole new SMPTE 2110 live workflow. Plus, we've got some exciting future technology we'd love to show you. We have some new cameras, plus some big audio news.
Oh,
And
so
of course, we'll also
okay,
be
they just
introducing
they
Davinci
just
Resolve
admitted it.
21.
All right,
So there's a
we
lot to
got new
talk about. So
cameras.
let's get
All
started.
right, so there are new cameras coming.
So first I wanted to talk about live production switches. Now we've got some great switches. We have the ATEM Constellation switches and they're very powerful. And a good example is the ATEM 4ME Constellation 4K. It's got a lot of features and it's got a lot of keys and DVEs and media players. And it's got a lot of inputs and outputs. But if you look at the back, it's all less, it's all 12G SDI.
Like I said, they're going to go.
So, how do we design a native 2110 model? Do we just change all the connections to Ethernet? There'll be a lot of 10G Ethernet connections. So I don't really think that looks very good. It's too complicated. So this is not the way we wanted to design an IP-based switcher. We needed a whole new design. And so we've done that. And it's called the ATEM 4ME Constellation IP. So let me show you what it looks like. I'll bring one out.
ATEM 4ME
There it is there.
So yeah, this is again.
So you can see it's a very different design. The big change is the cooling system. It's cooled from the front to the back. And we actually have 4 separate fans running slowly inside to keep it quiet. We need to keep the noise level down. These switches are installed in broadcast trucks, which is where people work. Data center products have like screaming fans, and we really didn't want that. This design has to be as quiet as we can make it.
I'm interested.
You can see there's also on the front an LCD for menus and monitoring. Plus there's a USB-C port for software updates. That's where you'd plug in the ATEM software utility. If you needed to do a software update, you can do it from the front panel. Now there's also a speaker and a speaker button on the front, so you can verify the program audio, and there's a headphone socket. Let's check out the back.
Where the rack, where it can get really hot.
There it is there, if you can get in on that. So you can really see how different the design is. So overall, the switch has 32 inputs, plus each input has a standards converter, but the connections use 100G Ethernet. So each 100G Ethernet port handles 8 of the video inputs and 8 of the video outputs. That's because Ethernet's actually bidirectional. So in total, this switch has 32 inputs and 28 outputs. It's all connected through 400G Ethernet ports. Right, so that means you only need to 4 cables to connect the whole switcher.
All right, this should make it a little bit better.
That replaces 60 separate BNC cables on an SDI switcher. So it's a massive saving on cabling. Now looking at the back, you can also see the connections are in groups of 2. Now that's for redundancy. So they work together as a redundant set. So you really only need one 100G port to connect it. But if you connect the second link, you get a backup.
Grad's always happy to see us.
And so what happens is pixels are grouped into packets, and then they're duplicated going out to both of the 100G Ethernet connectors. And at the other end, whichever packet arrives first is used. So each port could be connected through a different Ethernet switch. And if there's any errors on any of the links, the other link will actually still receive the packet. It's a very reliable system. Plus it's a real-time process, so you don't get any glitches. It's kind of like having 2 SDI cables.
All right, we're cool on the audio. All right,
because it instantly detects when any individual packet is missing. And so it's constantly error correcting. So it's a really good system. So now let's look at some of the other connectors you can see there. There's 2 separate 10G Ethernet connectors for control. So you can plug in an ATEM hardware panel into that, or you can plug in a computer running the ATEM software control. These ports are 10G Ethernet, so they're faster. It helps the media pool load quicker. And we've also got 2 connectors. It's like a little 2-input switch.
Those that are like
it's good for
doing
redundancy.
major shows.
If
you do a major stage shows, I would love to know what your thoughts are on this new product.
Now this is basically a video reference. Now there's 2 of those for redundancy, which is very important in large broadcast systems. And we've also got a separate 1G Ethernet management port. Now you can use that port for like the ATEM utility for software updates. There's also a USB-C port on the back, and that works as a live HD webcam feed. Plus we've got some redundant power supplies inside with the connectors. There, I'm looking at it backwards. So let's turn it back around and we'll power it up.
That's cool if something happens.
I'll place it over here. I'll plug some power.
Yeah,
power.
What?
Now it sounds like a data center product while it's booting up. Okay, now I'll also plug in the...
that is loud. That is a loud... That thing is loud. But if I had to take a guess, it's probably that vertical thing in the back. If I had to take a guess, it's probably some like Wi-Fi.
Because I wanted to try and keep this video less than 7 hours in duration. So I'll connect the video later. But let's talk about some of the features first. Now, it's an ATEM Constellation class switcher.
Dennis, what's up, man? Thanks for joining.
So the features are almost identical. So it's very easy to learn. It has the 32 inputs. It's got 28 outputs. That's 24 main outputs plus 4 multi-view outputs. And each multi-view can have up to 16 live views, but you can customize the views. So with 4 multi-views overall, you get 64 different views across 4 monitors. It has 16 ATEM advanced keys. It has, that's 4 keys per row. You also get 4 DVEs for digital effects. plus there's 2 super source processors in here. And of course, each super source is a layering engine with 4 of its own DVEs.
Why
so
do
that
you
means
say
you
that,
get 12
Julian?
DVs in total.
Why do you think this?
Of course, the switch has a lot of
yeah.
transitions, including mix,
Yeah.
wipes, dip, DVE transitions.
That's why I said get ready.
So let's have a quick look at the
I got my
the
coffee
software.
this year.
So you can see the ATEM software control over here. It's very familiar. If we can cut across to the computer, you can see this is I just plugged in the control cable. So you can see it's very familiar. There's the switcher
Luckily,
page.
I got a comfy chair this year, so I'm here for the whole 3 hours.
The feature set is the same feature set as a regular 4ME Constellation 4K model, but the design is native SMPTE.
I don't know if he. I don't know.
So I think this will be a very popular switcher. It really delivers on everything that we've been asked to do. It's got every feature that everybody could possibly want. Now the ATEM 4ME Constellation IP will be priced at $7,995.
$7,995.
So that price doesn't include any local duties or taxes. And we think it should be available.
The thing that I know about,
but I think broadcasters really love this switcher. It's an incredibly powerful switcher.
The cost of a lot of
but of course, it does raise the question:
bad.
what about something bigger? We've also done that. It's called the ATEM 4ME.
Of course, they got to go with something bigger.
Now it has the same features.
But Jonathan,
but it's got twice as many
thanks for your input. I appreciate
it. And twice as many outputs. So let me bring it out and show you that one.
How long was the stream last year? It was almost 3 hours.
3 rackets inside.
It was almost 3 hours.
Size. Let me show you the back. It's a bit heavier. Now you can see it has the extra 100G Ethernet
He did say
ports,
we have a
it's got
few new cameras.
64 inputs, and each input still has the sound converter. So it means
what's up?
also there's a total of 52 outputs.
We're here for the whole 3 hours, man.
48 man outputs.
Yeah, I think this is going to be another long stream.
Going through.
But I'm here for it. I got my coffee. I got my
clock
comfy
Ethernet
chair.
ports,
Got my coffee.
The 2 10G control ports, plus the 2 redundant power supplies. So let's go back to the front.
Yeah, we got a bigger boy. But
so as far
Kofi,
as,
thank you for stopping by, man.
As features go, you get the 16 ATEM advanced keys, the 4 main DVEs, the 2 super source processors, with each super source having the 4 DVEs, so you get a total of 12 DVEs. You get all the transitions. So let's plug in the power. We'll put it on top of
It is amazing how much technology has gone. I'm just like, again, Jonathan, I would love, Jonathan, if you're still watching, I would love to know, do you have any concern in terms of like
It's a very nice switcher. It's funny, the fans run full speed
because
when you first plug it in,
all the cooling pushes
it's got
to
no
the back.
brain until Blackmagic OS boots
and if this is in a rack mode, are you concerned about any potential heating?
It's big enough for really large jobs.
Overheating issues?
It's native SMPTE 2110, so I think it'll be nice. So the ATEM 4ME Constellation IP Plus will be priced at $12,995.
He did say we got a few new cameras.
I think it should be available after the other 4ME model
Let's see what we got.
So it should be about July, I think. So I think this will be very popular with live sports. You know, where you get a lot of things going on, a lot of cameras, a lot of graphics.
Resolve will be
so you need to have more inputs into the switcher to handle all that.
2026. The cameras will be Q3
2027. Ethernet ports.
That's
now,
my
what's
bet.
exciting is we can use these ports to add a converter. So let's start with SDI. So what we want to do is we want to convert these 100G Ethernet ports to 12G SDI. So we've created a kind of a breakout box for 12G SDI. You can plug it into the 100G Ethernet ports. It gives you 8 independent 12G SDI inputs and an independent 12G SDI outputs. That's because 100G Ethernet allows 8 channels of video, but it's also bidirectional. So really,
you know these things are going,
which is 8 in and 8 out.
You know they're going to, but I think these are probably going to get out early because they would want these if they could get these either for the World Cup, but they're definitely going to want them for the Olympics in 2028.
There it is. A bit of a close-up of that.
I think these are probably going to be huge, big deals for the NFL.
But it's got multiple channels,
for the
so you can just scroll
season of the
to
NFL
change the channel you're actually monitoring. And then you hold down the speaker button to adjust the volume. There's also the LCD on the front for menus. So let's check out the back. So you can see really how simple it is. So you've got the 8
I don't think it was that long. I think it was
3:15. There's another set of 8 BNC connectors for the 12G SDI outputs.
And it was like
there's also two
just under, if I remember, it was like
200G
under
Ethernet
the 3 hour mark before
and that's
we got
for the SMPTE 2022-7 redundancy. And there's also a control Ethernet port for NMOS routing. Plus there's 2 redundant AC power supplies. Like all these products, there's 2 redundant power supplies in them. So let's go back to the front and we'll plug in the power. Stack it on top.
Better put that pre-order in early. No, I'm honestly, I'm just kidding. By the way, I don't think. I hope it doesn't take till Q3 2027.
Again, I won't plug in the 100G.
I was joking, but
it'll take too long to spend time connecting everything.
Blackmagic.
The one way you can connect is directly to the ATEM switcher. that would convert one of the 100G Ethernet ports to 12G SDI. So it'd be like you could add a breakout box.
Totally
it would
agree.
add a whole set of 8 inputs and 8 outputs to the switcher, which makes this converter very useful. It really, in many ways, it's the main way to convert from 12G SDI gear into 100G SMPTE 2110 gear, all with a single optical fiber cable. So it's a great solution with these new ATEM IP constellation switches.
Awesome.
Because you can just use it as
for
sort
that
of a
update.
breakout box and you can mix and match.
Thanks for your 2
So
cents
the
into that, Jonathan.
Blackmagic SDI Expander 8x12G will be available for $2,995. We expect it to be available around June, depending on the parts. But it'll be perfect for connecting these new 100G Ethernet products into 12G SDI systems.
No,
you can store them in
Blackmagic
studio
really,
and then just run a single fiber back to an equipment
they're
room.
really one of the things that
I've seen broadcasters
changed
doing this
the
with
way
lots of
the
VNC
industry
cables
has
all
gone,
running
and
back to converters
and I appreciate
in the
it for that.
equipment room, and it's a mess. It's better to have the converter in the studio itself, and it keeps all the equipment areas uncluttered. Then you only need to run a few simple fibers around your building. Okay, so now let's talk about 10G Ethernet.
It does
now,
look
we've
good.
got a whole range of 10G converters.
That is a
even
cool
the
design.
Blackmagic Studio Camera Pro, which I have one behind me, models have 10G Ethernet. It's a great way to do SMPTE 2110 because it's very low cost.
So now we got some new
Plus
internet
it uses a copper
products.
cable, so you can remotely power the cameras and converters with an Ethernet connection.
Ethernet
the only limitation is the 10G Ethernet
now.
speed, but that only really affects the 2160 P60 Ultra HD format. And we have the Blackmagic IP10 codec for that. It's a very simple codec that's an open standard and it works really well. But anyway, how do we connect these 10G Ethernet products into this ATEM switcher? So we have a new product to do that. It's called the Blackmagic Studio Bridge 10G PWR. Let me bring it out and show you.
Grant, I'm going to talk to you right now.
So you can see it's all.
You guys really need to work on your namings
they all look
for
great
these guys.
Mounted in a rack together.
Like,
get a shot of that,
I love
it
that you like.
Cool. Now the front panel works the same as the SDI expander, so I won't really go into that.
Clear.
Let's check out the back.
But we got to work on these names. Blackmagic Studio Bridge 10G PWR.
It's very similar to the SDI
We got to work
expander.
on these names.
It combines 8 separate 10G Ethernet connections into a single 100G Ethernet connection. However, it also bridges into a redundant system, and this is really the big difference with this. Now, these 10G converters have a single Ethernet connector. So how do you bridge that into a redundant system? So that's where you have 2 Ethernet connections between each piece of equipment. That's where this converter comes in. It'll bridge a single link into the 200G Ethernet ports there. So then you get the redundancy. Plus, of course, it combines 8 10G Ethernets into the 100G as well. So now you might notice it's 2 rack units. That's because each, it's got a really powerful power supply in it, and it'll supply 90 watts of PoE power to each one of those 10G Ethernet ports.
90 watts?
So you can run 8 separate Blackmagic Studio Camera Pro 6K cameras from this one converter. So it's a lot of power. Anyway, let's go back to the front. We'll plug it in.
Really? Why that much power?
I'll put it on the stack.
But you know what? I take that back. My guess is that they're really designed for 8K delivery.
This is a great way to add 10G Ethernet ports into a 100G Ethernet IP-based system. And connecting it's super easy. But I love the PoE power. I think that's a really nice feature. That's why it's actually got the letters PWR in the name. It stands for power. It's a power, provides power.
Again,
so I think it'll be very
we got to work
popular.
on these names, Blackmagic.
So the Blackmagic Studio Bridge 10G PWR will be priced at $2,495.
Okay.
It should be available around June
what
or
I was
July,
going to say is that
like
it makes
July.
sense because
we'll also be doing some
they're
software
doing
updates
8K.
to some of the other products.
If you're doing 8K
so these
delivery,
updates are
it makes
important.
sense.
The Blackmagic Studio cameras and our
because you need a lot of power to push a lot of
bidirectional,
data.
SDI converters need new software. That's because the control is actually different over SMPTE 2110. So we need to do an update to support it.
That is true. You
to
can
upgrade them
power
from the way
the
we used to
cams
do it.
off the cable.
And we'll post on social media when that stuff's released.
What
when those
type
updates
of
are available.
workflow are you going to be looking
Okay,
at?
so now
Obviously,
let's
this
talk
will be
about,
just
we've
completely
talked about
studios.
converters, so let's talk about the next step, which is adding SMPTE.
You got
raining.
obviously
It's adding. What we need to do is add replay to this SMPTE 2110 IP video system. Now we need a solution that's compatible with 100G Ethernet. We need to record camera feeds into the
I just
network
thought
storage.
about that.
That's how Davinci Resolve Replay works.
Thank you, man.
It basically reads recorded camera files from a network disk. It even does it while the files are being recorded.
Because I was just
so
thinking, because it would make sense for something like if you had an Ursa Cine 12K.
Then Davinci
and
lets you
you
scroll
basically
along
power
and play
the
all those
whole
files.
camera.
So we need a hyperdeck that connects to 100G Ethernet. Also, we need, because 100G Ethernet handles 8 channels of Ultra HD video, we need a hyperdeck that also records 8 channels. And so we've done that. It's called Hyperdeck ISO Recorder 100G. Let me bring it out and show you.
Hyperdeck ISO Recorder 100G.
So you can see from the front panel, it's a bit different to the other products. That's because it's a broadcast deck, so you need transport controls.
But yo, I am digging
record,
the new designs. These designs are
play.
sexy. I'm
now
digging
you can see it
designs.
actually also plays. It's not really that important. But it's great for training.
It
so
it
you can
reminds
feed,
me of like
multiple streams into a switch or something.
the
We
original
also have on the
the
front a
original
nice search
X-Men
dial on the front
movie
panel.
with
Yeah, in
the
many ways, this recorder is similar to a HyperDeck
really
Studio,
cool.
but it's 8 channels. So there's also an LCD for menus. Plus, it's got the speaker and headphone socket on the front. That's for monitoring audio. So let's check out the back. There it is there. So you see it's got the 2 connectors for the SMPTE 2110, SMPTE 2022-7 IP video. God, there's so many letters. Now, it's the same as all the other products. This is where you connect the 8 channels of video in, but it also has some other ports on the back there. The most interesting of these is the 100G Ethernet ports for the storage. Now, this HyperDeck records ProRes for all the 8 files, and you can't fit more than about 4 streams of ProRes through a 10G Ethernet connection. So we moved to 100G Ethernet for network storage. Now, we have a Blackmagic Cloud Store Max that you can connect into here, and it has 100 gigabit Ethernet.
You may be right.
But there's 2 ports on there, so you can connect to 2 separate network storage
how do we know
disks.
where we're going to get
so
cameras?
when one disk fills, it'll move on to the second network storage disk.
I think that
so that's
definitely.
pretty nice. Now let's
A
look at some of the
Pixis
other ports on
broadcast.
there.
I didn't even think about that. A Pixis broadcast.
You can see we've got an SDI and a HDMI
that
outputs.
might.
Now that's for local
that may
monitoring.
be.
Often there's a monitor
With the
above a
older
recorder,
Super
so you can
35
connect it
6K
there.
sensor.
Now, when you're not playing, the search dial lets you actually swap between monitoring the different channels. So you can scroll up and down all 8 channels. It lets you monitor each individual channel, which is really helpful. Now, there's some other ports on there. There's 2 separate Ethernet control ports. Remote control is really important on HyperDecks, and so we've got 2 ports for that. Gives you a bit of flexibility. They're both 10G Ethernet as well. We also have 2 PTP clock ports. And again, there's 2 of those for redundancy.
Carolyn,
and that's really important if you need more than 8 channels. Because you can record
totally,
on more than one HyperDeck ISO recorder and keep them all in sync. And that's why reference on HyperDeck is really important. Now, we also have the management port that lets you run a separate network for the admin utilities. Most high-end broadcasters have separate networks. They have like one network for the SMPTE 2110 video, or 2 networks, of course, if they're doing redundancy. Then they have a separate network for PTP clocks, plus a separate network for control. So that keeps everything separate, which is why, with the HyperDeck ISO recorder 100G, that's really easy because you have all these separate ports. So let's go back to the front.
Yeah. Probably. We'll see.
Everything.
We'll see.
Now, I could connect it with a single, to the ATEM switch with a single fiber. Then the ATEM
I actually
outputs would be
think a
connected to
Pixis
the
Pocket
HyperDeck
4K,
inputs.
but they have
let's
to
not do that yet.
would be great.
Let's plug in the power, though. I'll put this
But
over here.
if they do a Pixis Pocket 4K, they got to make it a true
power cord.
4/3 camera, a true micro 4/3 camera, not just a 4/3 size, but a true micro 4/3 camera. That would be dope.
Now, when I record on this, I need some network storage. It records to external network storage. So I can direct connect to one of these 100G Ethernet ports. There's 2 ports, so I can plug in 2 separate network disks, or I could connect it to an Ethernet switch, but direct connection is better. Now, we have the Blackmagic Cloud Store Max, which is here. Now, it has 100G Ethernet. It's got a 100G Ethernet port, so we could record to that, which I'll do in a moment. In fact, I'll connect everything at the end, so the video is not too long. But anyway, to summarize, the HyperDeck ISO recorder, it's got a lot of features.
That. Like,
it handles
it's
both
good to see
HD
that
and Ultra HD television standards.
it
does
CEO of his
2160
stature
up to
being able to
2160p 60.
connect to
It's
his
essentially
roots.
like 8
But it
HyperDecks
also
in
shows
one.
that
Plus, it
he
has the
really
redundancy.
does
It's
care
really
and
easy
really
to use.
loves about this industry.
And records the network storage. You essentially get unlimited recording
try to
duration.
make it better.
I really love this HyperDeck. So
I
the
think we
HyperDeck
all
ISO
should be
recorder 100G will be priced at $4,995.
At least I appreciate it.
It should be available around about July, but I think it's going to be fantastic for live replay. However, there is a problem. The Blackmagic Cloud Store Max is not fast enough. It's got a single 100G Ethernet port and 4 10G Ethernet ports, but the 100G Ethernet port is actually tied up, plugged into the HyperDeck.
He absolutely.
So that's busy, and we can't
I
use
think it was
that
a
port,
while ago.
which means we have to
a few years
connect
ago that
to a computer via
there
a
was a
10G
whole
port. And that
article
10G port
that
isn't fast
he
enough.
is
You can only do
indeed a
about 4
billionaire.
streams of ProRes
Grant Petty
in Ultra HD over a 10G Ethernet port.
Worth
So it won't handle
over $1
8
billion.
streams of video, which that's why the HyperDeck is 100G Ethernet. So we've designed a new model of Blackmagic Cloud Store, and it solves this problem. It's called the Blackmagic Cloud Store Ultra. Let me bring it out and show you.
Plot twist. It's Dolby.
There it is there.
It's Dolby from
It's
Harry
a whole
Potter.
new design. It's dramatically faster than the Cloud Store Max model. It's still got the front to back cooling now. Well, sorry, this still doesn't. It's the new part of the new design family with the front to back cooling. And it's got an LCD for settings. Let's check out the back. But this is where you can really see the difference. It's got 2 separate 100G Ethernet ports, and they're actually on 2 completely separate networks, which means you can record from the HyperDeck to one port, and then the users can connect to the other 100G port, and both of those ports can access the storage, but they won't interfere with each other. We also actually have the monitoring
I didn't see it.
outputs on there, so it shows the storage status.
Maybe I'm blocking.
And on this model, we have SDI and HDMI monitoring for the storage status. We also have a management port for using the Blackmagic Cloud Store utility on a separate network, so you can do remote software updates. And also there's status information in the utility now for the Cloud Store, so you can monitor fan speeds and power supply status.
My friend, patience.
And we also have the two AC power connectors.
Like I said, the cameras will be at the end.
It's got the redundant power supplies.
So we'll see.
So let's go back to the back, to the front, sorry. There it is there. We'll get rid of this.
Oh, let me move over here.
Plug it in here. We'll plug some power.
See the studio camera over there.
So it's such an important storage solution. It's incredibly fast. It's a really exciting new design. And it's the center of a Davinci Resolve replay system. You know, the Hyperdeck will record video into this storage, and then Davinci handles all the playback and the replay. So it's a really important part of the whole system. Now, the new Blackmagic Cloud Store Ultra will be priced at $8,835 for the 24 terabyte model, which is a bit expensive because of the memory prices. Flash memory prices have been psychotic over the last few months. It's possible, in fact, the price could go up even further, or it could reduce. It's really hard to know.
I appreciate him saying that.
But I expect the prices will vary a bit over the next few months.
This is something that I was
we also have a larger 48 terabyte model. It's called the Blackmagic Cloud Store Ultra 48 terabyte, and it'll be priced at $15,695. They should be available sometime around July. I think the new Blackmagic Cloud Store Ultra is a fantastic companion for the Hyperdeck ISO recorder. And it also syncs to Blackmagic Cloud, so it makes it the center of a whole film and television post-production workflow. It's also fantastic on set and a DOT cart. So I think it'll be a really good product. There's only one problem though with this new Blackmagic Cloud Store Ultra, and that you have to copy the media out of it.
Blackmagic
which can be a problem in some situations.
Well,
yeah, sometimes you need to walk away with the media immediately.
Man, thank you for joining. I appreciate you, man.
And you won't really have time to hang around after the job's
they don't
completed
need another
for
camera,
copy,
but
file
apparently
So we have a solution for that.
You're going to get another camera. In fact, we got a few more cameras.
It's actually a massive
he said
upgrade.
It again,
it's
and
called
we got
the
a few
Blackmagic
new
Media
cameras.
Ultra. Let me bring it out and show you. There it is there.
They got a
you can
new
see it's
media
similar to the standard model, but it's actually an extra rack unit. That's because it's got better front to back cooling. And you can also see the vents on the top and the bottom there. Now it uses the same media modules as the Cine camera, but it's got that nice lead ring around the media slots as well. So it's red when writing and it's green when reading. Let's check out the back.
So they're doing a lot of these
very similar connections
power
to the Cloud Store Ultra. Plus you can see all the ventilation grill there. Now it's got the two extremely fast 100G Ethernet ports. It's got the SDI and HDMI monitoring output and a management port. And there's a USB port on the back because it actually the USB doesn't fit on the front, so we put the USB on the back. And that's for firmware updates.
Please give me.
And it's got the two redundant AC connections for the two redundant power supplies. So let's connect it to power. I'll put it on the stack here. Line it up. There it goes there. If you can get a shot of that, you probably see the media card illuminating, the media slot illuminating when it boots. So I think this will be a great storage solution for replay. It'll be great for broadcast trucks. You know, after a job, you can basically power it on the truck and pull the media module out and just unplug the storage. So the Blackmagic Media Dock Ultra we priced at $2,995. It's incredibly high performance. It's designed for film and television, and he uses these super fast Blackmagic media modules.
I wonder
these are the same media modules we use for recording 17K media from our
Will we just do a single
65mm camera, so they've got lots of speed.
They should make a single one.
So now we have a fantastic rack mount
that
dock
can work.
solution.
Because I think that's the thing most people ask.
Now we're getting close to connecting everything.
One?
Now the reason I waited is I wanted to talk about routing. Now we have all this gear for a complete live production system here, but most people connect everything to a router. Then you can just route the the video between the equipment.
Yes.
With Simply 2110, we use an Ethernet switch. Now we do already have an Ethernet switch product. It's called the Blackmagic Ethernet Switch 360p. Now, while it's an Ethernet switch for data, it's much more than that. It's really designed to make Simply 2110 easy. So it's got a router front panel, so you don't have to do like complex multicast settings and things like that. You just basically route the video around on the panel like a router. It's an Ethernet switch that basically looks like a video router. But that switch only has 200G Ethernet ports. Most of the connections are 10G Ethernet.
I expect them to say, hey, we got a single router. They should.
Here, but we really needed a new model for 100G Ethernet. So
we've done that.
It's called the Blackmagic Ethernet Switch 820. Let me bring it out and show you.
So they got a new switch.
Now you can see it's a ventilated design with a cooling front to back. It matches the design of the other gear. That's why it doesn't have the P on the.
I'm just
on
going
the
to
name,
call all of this the
because
X-Men,
it doesn't
the
have
X-Men
a router front
products,
panel on it. But you can do
or the
actually
X-Files
route
products.
video on the LCD, so you get basic routing.
These are the X-File
However,
products.
for a 100G Ethernet switch, the front to back cooling is way more important.
But
So
no, I
let's check out
agree
the
with you.
back.
Like, and I think most of us,
So you see there,
or at least everybody know that has an Ursa
now
Cine
this
12K
Ethernet
headset.
switch is
Can you
quite
please just give us
different.
a single one?
It's actually got a lot more features for SIM 2110 IP video. So you can see it's got the 8 separate 100G Ethernet ports, and it also actually has 2 10G ports, and that's quite convenient.
Yeah, oh yeah, absolutely, River. I'm
Now the
definitely
big difference
going
with this
to
model is it's got the PTP
I'm
clock-in
definitely going to do a follow-up.
ports on the
Absolutely.
back. There's 2 ports for redundancy. Now this Ethernet switch will distribute PTP clock out to all the connected equipment, which is really important. And there's also a 1G control port, so you can do
Oh,
MOS
okay. This
routing.
one I'm
using
actually
that
might be
port.
interested.
And there's also a 1G Ethernet management
100
port, and that's
gig
for doing
Ethernet?
software updates and monitoring the switch.
Hmm.
So it's a very professional switch with advanced features for
How
2110
much
IP
is
video.
this?
It has all the redundant power supplies on the back. So many broadcast racks in data centers have 2 power rails.
This one looks interesting.
And they can guarantee at least one of those rails will always stay online. So you kind of need dual AC power connections and redundant AC supplies to handle that, so that as the different power rails come up and down,
So
you can keep it
I'm
alive.
gonna say this: I
Let's
actually
go back
haven't
to the
seen
front.
Project Hail Mary yet. So I've been wanting to see it, but I just haven't had time. So no spoilers,
Plug it in.
please.
So now I've plugged in the power. Let's plug everything in. So we can now build our system, and we'll just connect everything to the Ethernet switch. Now I have a rack of HyperDecks behind me, and there's a Blackmagic SDI expander connected to all of them, and that'll give me 8 sources of video on a single fiber. So let's connect everything
That is
up.
possible. It may
and I'll
just be
start doing
studio
that.
cameras.
Okay,
We'll see.
plug that in.
But we'll see. That will. If it's just a bunch of studio cameras, I think a lot of people. I think all of us are going to not be very happy. I'm not going to lie. A lot of us are not going to be happy. So a lot of us are going to be happy. The work those studio cameras are going to be happy. I don't think, but the rest of us are not going to look happy. We're gonna give the Justin Timberlake meme.
And the next one is the studio bridge.
So I don't know. I mean, I haven't done that workflow, so I can't speak on that. But if you want to speak on that, I'll definitely, man. Fritz, absolutely, go ahead, go at it.
Okay, and now we need to plug the 10G from the switcher across to the HyperDeck so we can control the HyperDeck.
I agree. I think that's definitely on the table, Carl.
Okay, so now I have a rack of HyperDecks connected. I have the ATEM connected. I have the Studio Bridge 10G connected. Now we don't have anything connected to that yet, but I'll get there in a moment. But I have a Blackmagic Studio Camera Pro behind me. So
why do you do this, Grant? You know what you're doing.
Connection, so
just go ahead and give it to us.
Studio Bridge now.
He knows what he's doing.
So, where is that cable? Here it is.
I don't have anything cool yet. Just wait. I see what you did there.
And so that'll fire up. There you go. You see the camera's powered on. Plus video from the camera is heading down to the Studio Bridge, and where it goes into the Ethernet switch. And
I will do a live stream on the Aftermath. I'm not going to, so I actually won't be at NAB. I actually had a lot of projects come last minute that require my attention. So I won't be attending NAB directly, but I will be following up on all the developments.
Oh, actually, I've already got that connected.
And I will definitely do updates on all of them. And I will
so
do a live
now
stream.
I can record on the HyperDeck. Now it's kind of hard to reach the HyperDeck from around here, so I can trigger the recording from the utility over here. So I'll show you. If we come down to the computer, let's run the HyperDeck utility, and we can change to the, and we can hit record. There we go. So now we're recording.
He absolutely enjoys it.
So now it's recording to the media dock.
Grant enjoys
and you can see the LED ring on the front illuminated.
Okay.
Now I can connect to the second port on the media dock to the computer. So I have a 100G Ethernet card and an expansion chassis here, so let's connect that.
All right.
So I need another Ethernet cable. So plug into the back of the, I'm not sure if you can get a shot of this. Plug in there and I'll run that cable down to here.
Yes, he is. Yes, he is. Absolutely.
Alrighty. Plugged in there. So now I can open a file on the disk, even while the HyperDeck is still recording. So let's do that. So I
I'll
can
tell you
come
right
across to
now.
the
I don't care how long this
discipline
stream ends up
network here.
being. If Grant Petty
There's the
put
Media
on
Dock
an
Ultra.
X-Men leather shoot, I will watch
connect
the
to it.
entire stream
There's my
just for
folder.
that.
I can go into the file, and there I am. That's a 100G Ethernet connection to the storage, which is pretty nice. So you can have a whole lot of users accessing these files. It's a lot of bandwidth. And using the Ethernet switch obviously makes all these connections really easy. You're just connecting everything to the switch, and then you can route the video channels wherever you want. It's essentially just like a video router. An Ethernet switch makes all this 10G Ethernet, 100G Ethernet, sorry, IP video really easy. And so it's a
No,
great
that is
solution.
totally
Now,
why he's
the
doing this.
Blackmagic Ethernet switch 820 we priced at 2295. Like all these products, this price
little-
excludes any local duties
A little
and
higher,
taxes.
but
I think
I'm
it's
not
a very
mad at
affordable
that
price
price
for an Ethernet
for an
switch with these
Ethernet of this
features.
power.
Plus all the
I'm
connections
not
on the
at it.
rear.
It's a little
That
higher
means all
than
the
I thought it
cables
would be,
are in the
but
back of the rack. And so the front of the
I'm not
rack
mad
looks
at it.
really neat and
But
professional.
yeah, no.
I think it's an
They always do
amazing
this because
thing
they
that
know, yeah,
this
exactly.
switch is exactly
Everybody
the same
will
as a
drop
64
and
by
leave once the
64
camera's
router.
announced.
And it's all in one rack unit, and it's fully populated with only 8 fiber cables. So that's pretty cool.
That is true. This is this. I think all like this for church studios.
So next, I wanted to talk about standards conversion. Now,
staging,
we almost
I
have
think
a
is
full
great.
live production system here, but in television, video standards are often wrong. You know, the ATEM has a standards converter on every input, and that's great because it handles everything. But what happens if you have incoming video feeds that are wrong standard? What do we do about other equipment? So, for example, what do we do if we want to record on the hyperdeck? You know, we want all those record files to be the same video standard. So we kind of need to shield our system from crazy video standards. You know, we need a standards converter with 100G Ethernet because 100G Ethernet is 8 channels. We've designed a standards converter that's 8 channels. It's an up-down cross converter that's 8 channels. It's called the Blackmagic up-down cross 100G. So let me bring it out and I'll show it to you.
Okay.
So there it is there.
Okay. That's cool. So that's a cool product again with the X-Men with the
now it's 8
X-Files
channels on a
products.
single rack unit. So you
So
can
Marcus,
set each video
what I
standard
mean is
separately.
like
It
we would
handles all
not be
HDMI,
happy
HD
is
video
the fact
standards.
that they're
like
stating that
it also has
there's
this
new cameras.
sort
Not
of
the fact
high-end,
if they
broadcast,
came
ventilated
in and said,
design,
hey,
so
we're not
of
doing any
course, front and
cameras,
back, just like the other products.
any
So
announced any new cameras, but we got
it's,
camera updates.
more of a broadcast design.
I would be happy
It's got
with
the
that.
LCD
But
for
the
menus
fact
like
that
the other products
there's,
have.
he said,
And that's
we
where
got
you
a
actually
few
set
new
the output
cameras.
standard. You go
So
into
there
the
are
menu,
new
set the
cameras.
output
But
standard.
if they're all
Plus there's a
just
speaker and a
studios,
headphone for the audio monitoring. And again, you scroll along the channels.
knowing that we're all probably going to
so let's
sit here
check out
for
the back.
quite a few hours,
So you can see it's really simple
it-
on the back.
that's the only thing.
Now
I'm
there's
not.
the set of 100,
I'm
redundant
totally happy. I
100G
think
Ethernet
where we
connections.
are right now
And
as
then
an
there's
industry, I
the,
agree with you.
because obviously
100%.
the 100G
Where
Ethernet
we
does
are
8 in and
is
8
great,
output channels
and yes, we are absolutely
on
a
that
spoiler.
connector, so
I'm
you
just
just
saying,
need
if
that.
I'm sitting here waiting
You
for
only need
hours
one
and then
connector.
the studio,
It also has the 1G Ethernet port for the NLS
maybe a
routing
little bit
and the
T,
2
but
redundant power
I'll
supplies.
be over
Anyway,
it
so we'll go
probably
back to the
by
front.
T minus 3 hours.
So it's quite a simple product to use. You just set the output video standard for each channel. Then whenever you route video into it, it'll be standards converted. It's all automatic.
I agree.
plug
I
in the
hope they
power.
drop a new video
talk about
sys as
P.
well.
So we'll connect the 100G Ethernet.
I wish I could just.
Oops, I've got a really long
I just
cable.
feel like every time he puts out one of these new files with this new design, I really wish I could just hit the X Files like do 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 because I'm like, but it is a cool design. I do like the cool. It is kind of trippy if you just stare straight into it.
Now I've got 8 standards converters on the Ethernet switch, so I can route incoming video to the up-down cross converter, and then route the up-down cross converter to the hyperdeck.
Cameras are last.
And then the hyperdeck would record in whatever
They're going to be the
standard
very
we
last
want,
thing.
whichever we've set. It'll protect the hyperdeck from the wrong video standard.
We got to
So we
go
can use this
through all the
up-down cross to
broadcast stuff.
protect any
Then we got to go through Resolve,
Plus 8
and then
channels
they'll
of
save the
standards
cameras
conversion
for
in one
last.
crack unit is very compact.
That's how it always been.
So I think it'll be very
It's going to be the
useful.
very last
Now
thing.
the price for the Blackmagic up-down cross 100G will be
Now
2435.
243.
That's only about $300 per channel for an Ultra HD standards
So
converter.
we're going to be here for a while.
So you only need a single connection to get 8 channels. That's 8 channels in and 8 channels out, all with a single connection. So that's pretty nice. Okay, now with this setup, we really need a SMPTE 2110 based cameras. Well, we need SMPTE 2110 based cameras.
Why do I completely
now we have the Blackmagic Studio
that
Camera
comment
Pro, and it's
you
native
made?
SMPTE 2110. But what about a higher end camera? You know, now we have the Blackmagic Ursa Cine, and it's an amazing camera. It's got 16 stops of dynamic range, and it's
Are we starting with cameras already?
In cinema technology.
We got a
So
new
we
camera?
wanted to use this camera for live production.
Okay.
Can you imagine how that would look? It would be amazing. So the Ursa Cine 12K we think would make an incredible live camera. Now to do that, we've created a software update for it. Now the camera has a 10G Ethernet connection, so we can use that for
All
simply
right, so
2110 video.
Ursa City 12K
Now we've added a
update.
new
First,
menu option for the camera settings. So you just select ST2110 live from the menu, and then it transforms into a live production camera. You get digital film
Nice.
quality for live broadcast. It also has the built-in color corrector. And also you can use 3D LUTs now to do different color signs on different outputs. So there's a dedicated 3D LUT just for the SMPTE 2110 output.
oh,
But we need
nice.
a few other things. We need to use B4 broadcast lenses. So we need a B4 broadcast lens mount. That way we get the really fast servos that
so we
those
got a
lenses
new
have.
lens mount for the
We
Ursa
also
City.
need to control those lenses. Ursa Cine's a high-end digital film camera, and it's used by, it uses digital film style connectors. So we've also made a lens adapter cable.
Okay.
Plus for live production, we need a studio viewfinder, and we've also designed that. And it connects to the camera's USB viewfinder port on the front. And it actually becomes an extension of the camera itself. It's got a touch screen, and it's based on the Pixis monitor design, but it's got a larger, brighter 7-inch screen, so you can access all the camera menus from it.
All right.
So let me bring the camera out now, and I'll show you. I'll bring out the whole camera. So
that looks insane.
So there it is.
That looks insane.
So you can see it's all rigged with all the new accessories.
Camera.
Now it's an Ursa Cine. It has the Ursa Cine Studio Viewfinder mounted on top. It's connected to the camera with the USB on the front of the camera. It's powered from the USB.
Hey,
and
we got our 7-inch. Hey,
installed.
New 7-inch
it's got the
monitor.
B4 lens mount on the front there, and there's the B4.
We got a 7-inch monitor.
Control cable.
We got it.
It even supports the Blackmagic focus and zoom demands. So let's plug in the power.
So.
Oops. There it is there. So you should see it power up.
No, it's
so let's check out the back.
No,
of the
it's
camera.
the same camera. They just put a new mount and a new mount system, but it's the exact same camera. It's not a different camera.
Here it is. So there's the Ethernet port. You can get a shot of that. And I'll run this cable down and plug it into the studio bridge. There it is. Now it's sending video to the Blackmagic Studio Bridge 10G. So we have pictures going into the ATEM switcher from this camera. So let me show you something.
It is kind of ridiculous looking, I'm not going to lie.
Viewfinder there, if you can see that.
It's not...
Focus peaking, brightness controls. It's great. Plus it's an extension of the camera menus. So I can go through the menus.
That is a cool monitor though. Obviously, I'm not putting it on, I won't be putting it on the Pixis, but it is a cool monitor.
All the menus. Oops, it's really cool. It's very exciting. So you can see how really powerful this combination is. It's an amazing live production camera.
No, that is
I
totally agree,
for
man.
live production.
That is insane.
And with Davinci Resolve primary color corrector built into the camera, so you can live grade in the camera, but you're grading from 16 stops of dynamic range, so it looks amazing. Now, it's basically live cine. So now, this software update for the Blackmagic Ursa Cine 12K will be free of charge. And I think it'll be public beta pretty soon. We didn't quite make it, but it won't be very long. Now, the Blackmagic Ursa Cine Studio Viewfinder will retail for $1,495. That excludes any local
That's
duty.
what I expected.
Now, the Blackmagic Ursa Cine mount B4, which is the lens mount, will retail for $495. And if you need a lens control cable, that'll retail for $95. And that's the cable that converts the 7-pin external connector on the front of the camera of the Ursa Cine to the 12-pin high-res connector you get on these B4 lenses. So I think this will be a great combination. Now, we're also working on a Simply Fiber solution for Ursa Cine, but that's not ready yet. But I think this camera is going to be amazing.
Well, it does have gen lock.
Well,
the Ursa Cine 12K does have gen lock. I would assume you can do tally talkback.
How does this all look when it's mounted in a rack? I have a slide, if the guys can put the slide up, that shows you what it looks like. And you can see how all this gear looks when it's rack mounted. Now, when we designed all these products, we wanted them to look good together.
Man, crazy times.
Yeah, the sort of ventilation sort of flows down the rack from unit to unit, so it kind of has this.
Well, this answered my question from before about the heat management.
It's a little bit barren. The controls on the front of the ATEM were nice to have, and we kind of lost them because we went to the ventilated design. Professional equipment with 100G, then it really needs that front to back cooling. But we have a solution for that.
No.
What we've done is we've taken the front panel of the Cine Constellation 4K.
You think the new camera's a 17K sensor in a different body?
It's actually a SMPTE 2110 IP video converter. It converts HDMI, to HDMI and 12G SDI, so it has 12G outputs and HDMI outputs.
I don't want it as small. I'll say this. I do not want the 65 in as small as a Pixis.
Sorry, not a router
I
front
would
panel, an
like
ATEM front panel.
the
So it's a
17K
combination ATEM front panel
in
and video converter.
a Turner
Now they
size
have separate
body.
Ethernet connections, but let me bring it out. It's called the ATEM monitoring rack panel 20. Let me bring it out and show it to you. I'll just get this.
So we got
this
it.
any other
So now we're talking rack.
Here it is.
We're
here.
gonna. Are we gonna run out of
You can
table
get a
by the
shot of
time we're done
So
with
you can see
this?
from the front, it actually looks like an ATEM switcher, but the only electronics are just a video converter. So we don't need really front to back cooling for that because there's not a lot of power. There's not much circuitry inside, so it doesn't generate a lot of heat. Now, if you mount this in the rack, you get an ATEM control panel, which is great when you're setting up advanced or you're doing engineering tests. Let's check out the back. So you can see on the back, you've got the, if you can get a shot of that, you can see you've got the 12G SDI and the HDMI outputs, which is great for connecting to a monitor. There's also two separate 10G Ethernet connections. So there's two ports for redundancy. So this converter has the SMPTE 2022-7
I will say
redundancy.
this.
You can also see we've got the 1G
The company
Ethernet,
that I was
the control Ethernet
previously
connection,
employed
and
for
that's for the control
are
panel.
probably going to love
So you can connect that to
all
one of the
these
ATEM
products,
control ports. And
especially
then the front
for
panel will
like their
show the
big
switcher control.
convention
And the video will come in through the
events
10G
that they get
Ethernet
booked
and then
for.
output on the 12G SDI and the HDMI outputs. But that video will also come up on the LCD on the front. So when it's all running, it actually looks very much like an ATEM switcher. There's also a TalkBack connector on the front panel, and that's embedded in the channels 15 and 16 of the audio, of the video, sorry. And then there's also a black video output on the 10G Ethernet with the TalkBack
Yeah,
audio.
he'll have Dolby.
Now you also
He'll
get the
have Dolby
redundant power
building another
supplies.
table
So let's get
as
up to
he
the front
works
and
his
we'll
way down. That's what's
connect it
going to
up.
happen.
So there it is there. See? So what we'll do is we'll plug it in.
That is
Okay, let's
that
get
is
some power.
the $1 million question. We'll see.
And we'll get an Ethernet cable, plug it into the studio bridge. Alrighty, now that should come up. So now you should see program video appear in just a moment on the front panel here, if we can get a close-up of that.
Probably like 10
plus you
tables.
could press buttons on the front panel to control the switcher. I think this
So
is a really
basically,
useful
this
product.
is interesting.
It makes
This
the
is
rack look much more exciting, but it also works with
It's
any
a,
ATEM switcher,
basically it's
even
an
older
empty
models.
shell. It's basically an
So
empty
that'll be
shell
cool.
that you wire
Now
all the
this
different.
ATEM monitoring rack panel 20 will
all
be
the different
priced at
constellations of that.
$995. So it should be available in a few months. When it's in a rack, it really
Very
helps
interesting.
with the setup of jobs and when you're getting started. You can test things before your control desks are set up. Now we also want to
It's
design
like
a bigger model.
it's like their
This
shipping
panel is based
dates.
on the 4ME Constellation 4K front
It just
front
keeps
panel.
extending.
So it's 2 rack units in size. It's called the ATEM monitoring rack panel 40. Let me bring it out and show you. Here it is here. You can see it looks the same as the
No,
ATEM
no,
4ME
he's going to be just
Constellation.
excited about the
You can
tables
get a shot there of that.
as a new camera.
How's that look? So it's got, you can see it's got that big screen. It's also got 40 buttons. But the converter inside is actually the same as the 20 button model. It's exactly the same converter internally. So let me show you the back. So you can see it's, I'll put it on the desk there. So you can see it's the exact same connectors as the
I
other
would
model.
too. I would love to
It's
see
the same
a Gen
electronics.
6.
So you get the 12 GSDI and the HDMI monitoring outs.
Maybe that
You
was
get the redundant
have
10G Ethernet
something
and the
that's a
control
little bit
port
more
and the redundant AC power. So let's plug it in.
more
It's nice to be
closer
large LCD.
to
I'll put it over on this side.
has a little bit less harsh on like the
bring out
reds
my
like
power.
Gen 5 does right now. But I would love to see it. Yeah, I would love to see a new color science.
Yeah,
Maybe
it's
something
all
that's
done.
closer to the
Yeah.
airy, the new
Plug it
airy
into
color
the
science that's in the
studio bridge
Alexa
here.
35. I think that would be cool.
Yeah, that looks better. Okay, so that'll come up in a moment. So it really adds a lot of excitement to a rack. Now I have a slide
Actually,
showing the
Morris,
rack
no,
with
I'm
all
not
those
going to
panels
put
in
that
it.
up
So you can see
because
if I can
that
bring
could
it up, it
be
looks a lot more
interpreted
exciting.
very, very wrong.
So I think this would be a very
Wow,
useful
for that
control panel.
comment.
Both of them will. So this ATEM monitoring rack panel 40 we priced at $1,595. Like all the products, this excludes duties. But I think this is a really nice converter and control panel combination. It really spices up the rack. Okay, so now let's talk about future workflows. So I wanted to show you two different types of workflows we've been working on. Now this future work isn't quite ready yet, but it helps you understand kind of where we're heading with everything and what we're doing.
Okay.
Now we have all
New
this 100G Ethernet equipment, and it allows 8 channels of Ultra HD, HT, but what else can it do? Yeah, there's a lot more we can do with 100G Ethernet. It's not just about less cabling. What we've really done here is build a foundation and something we can build on top of.
Okay.
So the first of these workflows I want to talk about is high frame rates. Now we can do 8 channels of Ultra HD with 100G Ethernet,
Okay.
but we can actually do higher frame rates. We could do 1 channel of Ultra HD at 8 times the frame rate. So that'd be a single channel of 480 frames a second.
Okay.
Or we could do 2 channels at 240 frames a second. Now with IP video, we're really talking about bandwidth, and it makes a lot of things possible. So I think it'd be better to demo kind of what this looks like. So a little while ago, we did some tests with high frame rates. We changed the goal
But that
cameras
would
at the
mean
local
you
ice
have a
hockey
camera that
finals, and
shoots 480
so this job is
frames,
actually running at
right?
Ultra HD at 50p. So all the gear is running at 50
Right?
frames a second,
Right?
but the goal cameras are running at 200 frames a second. And then Davinci Resolve was used to do the replay. So what I want to share is a quick video of what that actually looks
Wouldn't
like.
that mean you
So
have
if we can
a camera
play
that
the video.
shoots 480 frames?
Okay, so you can see this here. So now this is the normal program sort of view, and you can see that there's a goal
Exactly.
happening here, so they're doing their thing.
What do you mean?
And it's a bit of a
What do
mess.
you
You
mean
can't
by
really
that?
quite see what's going on. But then what we'll do is we'll cut to the goal camera, and this is what 200 frames a second looks like. So if you really look to the right-hand side of the frame, you can see them all fumbling around here, and there's a whole lot going on. This is actually Ursa Cine doing this. So we've got the, it's a bit hard to see, but if you look at the extreme right, just now you can see the puck just slide along. See, it goes into the goal just there. So it's really quite amazing to see what you can really see when you get those nice high frame rates. And there's another shot. Now, if you watch the guy with the puck and the orange on
Now,
the right,
watch these go. Now, of
watch what
course,
happens
we're
to
going to
him on the
need a
extreme
camera
right-hand side
that
of the
could
frame. He
actually
kind of
shoot
hits into
these
the
high
wall.
frame rates. So
And
we went and did
just
that.
slightly out of frame there, but of course, there's a fight. It is ice hockey, so it's what do they say, about that? So here's the same
No, it
shot
does
from the
look
goal
great.
camera. Now look at his face. If you watch, so he misses, and then check out his face. Look at that. Look at the ice fly up, and look at him go into the wall. It's just awesome to have the main cameras running as high frame rate cameras, and this is only 200 frames a second. So here's another shot of another goal.
Why does he say
Again,
it's
you
only
see
200 frames a second?
The normal
It's like,
program
yeah,
view here. This is
we're
the normal
only doing
50p
200 frames a
program
second.
view.
We could do
And then we'll cut
more.
across to the goal camera,
could do
and you'll see
more.
the.
We could do
This is
480.
what it looked like on the high frame rate camera.
You know what you're doing,
You can
Grant.
see it's just
You
so
know
much
what
more
you're
clear.
doing.
You can even see the angle of the puck moving around. It's just the amount of detail that you can see. Even other things looked really good with high frame rate, like just crowd shots look fantastic. Just having every camera potentially be able to do that. Look at the ice fly up in slow motion. It's so cool. And just crowd shots. It's so exciting to see. So that was only, so thanks for that. So that was only 200 frames a second. So it's only 4 times the production frame rate. But you can really see how nice that looked. So we did both 50 frames a second and 200 frames a second from the same camera. That camera was feeding both. So it's not a special high frame rate camera. It's just one of the main cameras. And that's what we really want to do here. We want to make the higher frame rates a normal part of the cameras. So how will we make this work?
Yes.
Well, the first step is we need to get all this into Davinci Resolve. So if
Okay.
Davinci Resolve is doing the replay, then it needs to get the high frame rate media. So we need to record it into the storage. That's why we developed the Hyperdeck, ISO Record 100G. So the Hyperdeck hardware is more than just an 8-channel recorder. So we're working on a software update for it, and it'll be a free update, but it'll allow the function of the Hyperdeck to be switched over. So currently it's doing 8 channels of Ultra HD up to 60 frames a second, but this software update will let you change that. So you'll be able to switch it to 2 channels of Ultra HD up to 240 frames a second, or 1 channel of Ultra HD up to 480 frames a second. So then the Hyperdeck will be able to record high frame rate
Yes.
cameras into the cloud store. Now Davinci's job will be to read those files just like the other camera recordings, and Davinci will show all the cameras in their multi-view. Some of those cameras will be high frame rates, and Davinci will reconcile all those different cameras together and make them look like normal speed cameras. So even when the camera's on air, it'll play at normal speed. But then when you do a slowdown of that particular camera that's high frame rate, it'll be much smoother because it's a high frame rate recording. The slow motion will be really smooth. And in our case, at 200 frames a second, we'll be able to go to quarter speed and it still looks good. But then Davinci can create synthetic frames because the motion is slower, the results, even that'll be better. So you could even go below quarter speed. So, you just have so many more frames to work with. And so it'll be amazing. And all this with the same Hyperdeck recording it.
Yeah.
You just switch it over.
Yeah.
But the problem is, of course, it raises another issue, is what about the rest of the equipment? Now, the rest of the equipment only handles Ultra HD up to 60 frames a second. So we actually have to isolate these high frame rate camera feeds from the rest of the equipment. So only the Hyperdeck needs to record those high frame rates directly because we want to record it. But we can't send that to the switcher. It would tie up all the input bandwidth. So it would drastically reduce the number of inputs you can put into the switcher.
All right, we got another
So what we
broadcast
need to do is down convert those high frame rates. And that's what the new Blackmagic Up-Down Cross 100G does. So it's more than just an 8-channel Ultra HD standards converter.
That's
we'll
cool,
also
though.
do a software update for that. So you'll be able to change its function from 8 channels of Ultra HD up to 60 frames a second, or it could run 2 channels of Ultra HD up to 240 frames a second, or 1 channel of Ultra HD up to 480 frames a second. And it'll down convert those high frames to normal frame rates. That's why it's connected to the Ethernet switch. So you could route the high frame rates into the hyperdeck
Yeah,
through the
it's
switch,
coming, but come
and
on.
then into the up-down
Why
cross
are you
converter,
teasing us?
and then the hyperdeck will
We know
record
where
the
this is
frame
going.
rates. But the up-down cross converter would then be used to down convert to the other gear. So the ATEM switcher and the monitors and all the other gear would use the down converted output, and you could just route that all through the switcher. So you really kind of have two different frame rates all running at the same time, all using the same gear at no extra cost, which means you can change the, between different jobs, different frame rates. And particularly you could use high frame rates on jobs you didn't expect to use it on, like those crowd shots. The more free you are to try these things, the more creative you can be. So I think it'll be very exciting. So it'll be cool. Okay, so then, of course, what do we do about a camera to feed all this?
Yes.
So we actually
What
need a high
about
frame
that?
camera.
What about
So we've also
that?
done that. We've got a new camera designed just for this. But we went one better. What we've done is we've redesigned the Blackmagic Ursa Cine to allow high frame rate SMPTE 2110 output. It's a faster design. It's got the network port is now much faster.
A new
than
Ursa
Ethernet.
Cine.
So let me bring it out and show you. I've got one down here. Actually, I've got
A new
slide
Ursa
this out of
Cine.
the way.
So a new Ursa
myself
Cine that
some
does
space
high
here.
frame rates. The Ursa
And here it is.
again, Blackmagic. We need to work on these names. Ursa Cine 12K LF 100.
You see, I've rigged it up with all the new accessories. Now it's a similar. Move it here.
So a new camera, Ursa Cine
Now it's similar to
12K
the
100.
10G model, but there's been some changes. Let's have a look at the back here. Sorry, I'll just bring it across here so you can get a shot into the back there. So you can see there. So you can see it's got the 100G port. Otherwise, it's very similar to the standard Ursa Cine 12K. But with this high-speed 100G Ethernet, it can output higher frame rates. So when you're running with a B4 lens mount, we can crop that 12K sensor, which means we can run even higher frame rates than a normal Ursa Cine. So this Ursa Cine 12K will, with 100G, sorry, the Ursa Cine 12K 100G can run up to 440 frames a second. And this shows you really how amazing 100G Ethernet is.
So this could do
so adding this
440
camera
frames
lets
a
us do
second.
some really cinema quality high frame rates.
But I'm assuming it's only in Ultra HD.
All of this with 16 stops
but
of dynamic
it's going to
range.
be in a crop.
Of course, you get the studio viewfinder and the B4 lens mount compatibility.
So
let me plug in the power,
which I believe is,
wherever that is.
correct me if I'm wrong, isn't that like 1-inch sensor size?
Oh, here it is.
Basically, you have to crop to a 1-inch sensor size. Because I think he's saying it only works if you
And now I'll have,
with the B4
I'll plug
lens.
in 100G as well. Oops, the wrong way around. There it is there. And I'll just plug it into the Ethernet switch.
Well, I'm guessing
so
it's going to be Ultra
pictures
HD.
running into my production system.
My guess
here.
is Ultra HD.
So I think it'll be really interesting to see how this
It's
goes.
probably
Oops,
when
the power's
this
off.
this is the only option
Power
going to be.
switches. So it'll be really interesting to see how that goes. I don't know if you can get a shot of that there.
Yeah.
There it is. So you can see. There it is. So I think it'll be interesting to see how this camera is used in live production and how high frame rate stuff is used. So the cost of this Blackmagic Ursa Cine 12K LF 100G will be
$9,000.
from $8,995. So that's the price of the body only model. But you can also buy it in a kit with a media module and some accessories. So this is an exciting camera. It'll ship in a few months. We'll do the kind of high frame rate work with the other products before we ship it. And we'll need to update the,
I
the
agree.
hyperdeck
I think it's
and
going
the
to be
up-down
Ultra
cross 100G for this all to work. So we'll keep working on all this as fast as we can.
Yeah.
But it does raise another problem. The Blackmagic Ursa Cine 12K 100G has a single Ethernet port. It's got a single 100G Ethernet port. And like we saw with the Blackmagic Studio camera, which also has a single Ethernet port. So for that camera, we have the Blackmagic Studio Bridge 10G. So we really need a 100G model of a Studio Bridge. So we can connect the single 100G port into a redundant SMPTE 2022-7 system.
Of course.
So we've done that, and it's called the Blackmagic Studio Bridge 100G. Let me just move this out of the way a little. So here it is here.
Again, these names.
There it is there.
Let's
So we can get
please,
in close to
Blackmagic.
that.
Let's talk about these names.
There you go, cool. So this will combine two cameras into 100G Ethernet bandwidth, which is helpful if you're running like less than 240 frames on the cameras. So each camera would be running less than, I'll put it down there. So each camera would be running less than 50 gigabit. So then you can sort of combine both of those cameras into the redundant IP video system. Now it's one rack unit because it doesn't need to power cameras or anything, it's all optical. So it doesn't need all those big power supplies. So I think this is an important part of the high frame rate story. You still get redundancy for these high frame rate 100G cameras, so that'd be cool. I'll put it on the stack.
So we got one new camera.
Getting quite a pile here. So the Blackmagic
No,
Studio
you
Bridge
don't-
100G will
no,
be
you
priced
think,
at
Grant?
2,495. So we'll ship it when we release this whole high frame rate workflow. Okay, so now let's talk about another future workflow, and that's for immersive production. Now, there's new products like the Apple Vision Pro have been released, and they're like a complete revolution in entertainment. It's a whole new way of experiencing media. And for our industry, it's a whole chunk of new business. So it's very exciting. Now, we've been
Hey,
working on this for quite a long time. We
um,
released the original
we got the look
Blackmagic
Apple
Ursa Cine
Vision
immersive
update.
camera.
You guys
It's
were asking about it,
used on
or
a lot
some
of
of you guys
shoots,
were
and
asking
it's
about.
helped
We're
create
about
a
to
lot of
find out.
content. But live production would be amazing. If we could make this immersive experience live, it would completely transform entertainment. You know, you're not just watching an event, you're literally part of the event. So how do we do that? Well, we need a camera, but first, how does all this equipment help? So again, we want to share some of the thoughts on immersive live production and how we've been sort of thinking about this. And when we designed this gear, we were actually thinking about immersive support. So the first thing we need to do is we want to use
That is a
the
good question.
Hyperdeck ISO recorder
Yeah, how
100G.
robust are they?
So we'll have a
I-
software
I-
update to
we'll
allow
see.
immersive recording. It'll be a free update. And this is how the Hyperdeck will add more recording standards over time. It'll get more powerful over time. And then again, all this is made possible because of the 100G Ethernet connection. So okay, when we're designing hardware for immersive content, we kind of have to standardize the resolution. There's too much data to really use computers to solve some of these problems. So we need to build a live production system with a lot of cameras, and it's quite a complex problem, but it makes it an exciting challenge. You know, the Apple Vision Pro has incredibly high resolution per eye. So you need 8K square per eye at 90 frames a second, so that's not 16 by 9 8K, which is 8K by 4K, or specifically 16 by 9 8K would actually be a resolution of 7680 by 4320. It's not that. The Apple Vision Pro is actually square. It's a square display per eye.
Yes.
So we need to capture almost twice the vertical resolution that we normally do. But we're also working at 90 frames a second, which would be much more data rates compared to
8K
per
by,
eye compared
by
to 8K.
8K for 90 frames a
And then
second?
we're running a third higher frame rate. And then there's two sets of those eyes because they're stereo. So for live, we're currently working at 8K by 8K at 90 frames a second in stereo, which is an insane amount of data. So the most obvious question is, how do we replay that? So that's sort of the first part of this workflow. So in a normal 2D replay, which I talked about before, Davinci Resolve plays all the cameras at the same time. A modern computer can handle that.
Yeah, he does.
It's Ultra HD.
He's doing
And
the
you can
Wimby
play and
maps.
you can scroll the camera
Victor
recordings off the
Wimbyama
storage.
maps.
But immersive is actually a different problem. Handling one full resolution immersive stream is hard enough for a computer. There's just too much data. So the Hyperdeck will also record a HD proxy. And then Davinci can actually play all the proxies in a multi-view, and it'll only play the on-air
Agreed.
camera
We'll
in
just call
full
it DLF.
immersive resolution when it's on air. Of course, this is what we hope to do. We're still working on it. But from our tests, we think the computers are fast enough to be able to play a full resolution immersive channel and handle the proxies and for the replay. So that's how we'll do that. Now, of course, the Hyperdeck will get the live immersive video into the storage, and Davinci Resolve will be able to read that for replay. But how does Davinci Resolve play back that immersive content? This is where the Decklink IP100 capture card is used. Now, for normal replay, we can just use an Ultra HD Decklink card, but now we need to play back immersive video. So we've been working on a software update for the Decklink IP100 that'll let it play back a full immersive stream. And all this is to build an immersive replay solution, but that's again only part of the changes required for immersive. There's a lot more data. It's not like anything that's been done before, so it's pretty cool. So that's kind of a bit of an outline of how some of these products will change. But now let's talk about the camera. Now that's been the hard part. Getting a camera to work at these high data rates has been really tricky. But to feel really realistic, it should be a digital film camera. And then we'll have the quality we need to reduce imaging artifacts. Now you want the immersive view to be as close to reality as possible.
So we're doing a new immersive camera?
What we've done is we've based the new immersive camera on the Ursa Cine Immersive. It's a new model. It has 100G Ethernet. It's called the Blackmagic Ursa Cine Immersive 100G. Let me bring it out and show you. I'll just move this
Immersive 100G.
out of
Let's
the
just
way.
call it the Immersive 100G.
So get that up there, and we'll bring it out. And put it
Again,
over
these
here.
names.
Here it is. So you can see it looks similar to the standard model.
Exactly. All you three people, all the three people, hey, you got what you need.
However, the design has been upgraded with much higher performance. You can see on the back it's got the 100G Ethernet connector there. Actually, if you can look at the side, you can see we've repositioned some of the controls because we've got to have cooling that goes up through, so you can see the controls have moved down there.
Well,
Same thing with the 12
we got the
100G.
few cameras.
So you see the
We
connector
have
there.
now heard about a few new cameras.
You know, as you can guess, the immersive requires a lot more data. It's actually way more data than 100G Ethernet can handle. So we have a second part of the solution. It's called the Blackmagic Ursa Cine live encoder. So let me show you. Here it is here.
So a new media dock.
So what it is, it's a, I'll get it out of the container. It's a processor module that plugs into the media slot. It's basically a ProRes encoder. It can compress the live immersive data on about 46 gigabits a second,
Oh,
and it
cool.
easily fits into the 100G Ethernet. In fact, it also means we can
Could
get
this
two
possibly
cameras
mean
into
we
a single
get a
100G
ProRes
Ethernet link.
recorder for
That's
the
why the
Ursa
Blackmagic
City
Studio Bridge has two
LF?
camera ports.
Maybe.
It'll combine two of these live immersive cameras into the one redundant set. Anyway, so let's load this encoder into the camera here. You can see a view of that. Just clips in like that. And then we can plug in the power.
I mean, look, they still save. There's still a
There is
chance
that.
that we'll get more cameras.
Now the camera
We'll
has
see.
been powered on. Let's plug in the Ethernet. Now what I have is, I've got a DeckLink 100 IP card
Usually,
down in the computer
Davinci
down
is
there,
like,
and it's
once we
installed
get
in
through
a
the
Thunderbolt
broadcast
chassis,
stuff,
so I
all the
can actually show you
broadcast
it working. So let me plug the 100G
general stuff,
into that Mac down there.
we
So let's grab this
typically
cable.
then get to Resolve. I think that's going to, after we get through this round, Resolve is next. Yeah, I heard that too, a ProRes encoder.
We'll go all the way down here if you can
Which is
follow me
cool.
down. Of course, the camera cable's tangled up.
I mean, yeah, that's still pretty
is
impressive. It's not
obviously
in
the biggest
it's
innovation
not
of
in my
optical fiber
workflow.
guys is
It's
how to
probably
make the cables
not
tangle.
in a lot of us workflow, but it's still impressive of what they're doing.
Right, here we go. It's all good. So let me plug it into the DeckLink 100G. The other way around. There it is there. Okay, so now we can go to the Mac and we have a test app we have created. It'll capture and decode the live immersive video. So let me bring out, if we can cut across to the screen over here. Actually, I forgot to swing the camera. Let me go back and swing the camera around. So I'll point it at the set so it looks a bit more interesting.
He's
cool.
stalling time so
let's
we
go back
can
down.
put more tables down.
So I'll quit this Hyperdeck app, close that. Here we go. See that? There it is. So you can see the latency is quite low. It's such a wide picture view. That looks cool. You can see the lights. So this is just a basic switcher app, but you can see how it works. So the idea is that all the these products will build into an immersive workflow. So we have the camera, we have the converters, the Hyperdeck.
That
But the
would be
ATEM Constellation,
interesting,
let
Central.
me just come back down this way.
It's interesting. I
But
don't.
the
I'll
ATEM
be honest. I
Constellation
don't know
won't handle immersive.
How should I say this?
Move that
How
down a bit.
feasible
So the
workflow
ATEM
of
Constellation
Resolve
switcher won't handle
on an
immersive.
iPhone will actually
So I'll
be.
get to that in a moment. However, the images from this camera are amazing. And they're all live going through this cable. Live immersive.
This is
you know,
really
it's
cool.
like you're being transported to another
definitely
location. It's really amazing to watch. Now the price of the Blackmagic Ursa Cine Immersive 100G will be $26,495. That includes the 8 terabyte
for the
media
for
module,
the
which raises
production
the price
houses
a
that
bit.
this is
However, we
designed
might
for.
include a body-only
That,
model
that's
that
not
excludes
that's
that
not bad at
because
all.
it'll save a bit of money. We can look at that
But-
once this whole live immersive workflow is shipping. So the price of the Blackmagic Ursa Cine live encoder, that module will be $1,495.
Okay.
Of course, it's excluding duties and taxes. So we think this will be an amazing combination. Now, we've actually been quietly shipping the Ursa Cine Immersive 100G for about 6 months or so. There's been productions done with it. However, we wanted to sort of wait until the whole workflow was complete before we ship it. So that's why the DeckLink IP100G was delayed
No,
in shipping a
I
bit
think the
because
other one is cheaper.
we were actually busy adding immersive and
because
beta testing
I think
all
that's
the stuff
body
using
only.
the DeckLink
Divorce.
IP100G
I think
card.
that's body only. Because the body only I
Anyway,
think is
so
25,000.
moving on, so this workflow can be all updated, like all these products can be updated to support immersive, apart from the ATEM switcher. The ATEM 4MA Constellation IP switches are for Ultra HD only. That's great because, you know, they're familiar, but we actually need something at another level to handle immersive. So I want to show you something we've been working on. It's a whole new type of ATEM switcher. It's actually a full 3D switcher. It's actually 2 switches in one. It's kind of the left and right eyes. So it'll be able to do like regular Ultra HD 3D, but it's got enough power for immersive. Now it's called the ATEM Solaris i64. Let me show it to you. If we can get a close up over to my right, it's behind me on the bench over here. So I'll just take the cover off so I can show you.
Well, now we know what's behind the veil.
There it is.
ATEM
So you can see it's
Solaris.
quite a lot bigger than the normal switches. That's because it's a very large switcher. It supports 64 immersive live cameras. And that means it's got a lot of electronics. It's got a lot of 100G
64
Ethernet connections
immersives?
on the back. But you can see it's a similar ventilated front to back design. However, it's actually deeper than the other switches. And you can unscrew the front panels on this to get access to the cooling fans.
64?
And you can also get access to the internal boards.
Yeah,
But, the whole inside is
this
a
worked well away from me,
machine chassis
but
that
I
holds all the
appreciate
electronics
it.
together. So let's check out the back, and it's on a swivel, so I can just rotate it around. So,
Yeah, an ATEM immersive switch. Yeah, I was
there it
like,
is
what?
there. So you can see.
This thing, this is insane.
So let's discuss here kind of
That is
what is
insane.
on the back here. So there are actually 32 input connectors with 2 cameras per 100G Ethernet port. So that means that each input connector has actually 2 PROS decoders behind it to handle the 2 cameras. So it gives you 64 inputs in total. That's across the whole switcher, which is why the Blackmagic Studio Bridge 100G can combine the 2 cameras together, because we want to be able to then use a single Ethernet port.
Agreed.
Now each
Agreed, man. That's
horizontal
crazy.
set of connectors is a separate input board, and so each input is also a redundant pair, like you can see there. But there's also PROS encoders on the boards for the outputs. So across the whole switch, you get 16 PROS encoded immersive outputs. But you can also route inputs back to outputs. But it means you get 16 main outputs, which are like 16 clean switch outputs. Now, the reason we've been working on such a large switcher is because that's the work that needs to be done. The first immersive live production is very large events. And so we needed to kind of build a bigger model first. So looking down the bottom here, you can see there's some other ports, and now we have the redundant 10G control ports. We also have redundant PTB clock ports, plus the management Ethernet port. Now we have a bit different on the power supplies. We've got these removable power supplies. There's 4 of them because we have quad redundancy on this model. So any one power supply can run the entire switcher. But if you plug in more than one power supply,
By the
they'll
way,
share
if
the
you
load,
guys
which
are
means the fan
enjoying
speeds
the
will
watch
reduce
along with
and
me, you guys
it'll be
are enjoying
quieter.
the content, and
We're
you're
still
having
worried
fun
about
here,
fan noise
definitely
even
make
on
sure
this
you hit
large
a like.
switcher. I can show you the power
Hit the
supplies
like,
how
and
they
if
come out.
you are
So they
subscribed
just
to the channel, definitely
unplug
make sure to hit
like
the
that.
subscribe button. I definitely put content, definitely Blackmagic related content out there.
And like I was saying, any
Cameras and
one
things,
power supply will run the
lights.
whole switcher.
So
Now this switcher will
definitely,
also work in
definitely do
regular
that.
2D, Ultra HD.
I would love to have
We
you
think
guys
it'll be about
continue
200
growing
inputs,
what we
maybe
have here.
more when it's running in Ultra HD. So you'll be able to do regular work as well as immersive work. Now we have DVs on the inputs, and so the idea is that we think you'll be able to bring in 2D source into sort of a 3D space, but there's a lot more work to work on that. So while the switcher is not finished, we kind of wanted to show you, and then you can understand kind of where we're heading with this and really how serious we are about this live immersive workflow. So it should be very exciting. Now, I'll swing it back around. So we think this ATEM Solaris i64 we priced about $110,000, which isn't cheap. However, we're working on half and quarter size models that will be much cheaper, like the half size model, which will be called the ATEM Solaris i32, will be about $50,000. However, the prices are a bit volatile at the moment because of all these crazy memory prices. We'll probably know closer to when they ship. But what's important is beta testing it with customers and then working out the exact features as we do more work. It's quite a flexible design, so we'll be able to change things as we go,
down payment
as
over
we beta
mention,
test
or
it. Okay, so the next problem we have to solve is audio.
or you
with
know,
immersive
a
workflows, the audio has to be a lot better.
House in
simple
New York City.
2-channel stereo isn't really enough. We need surround sound audio as a minimum, or even immersive audio. Working with surround sound and immersive audio is very complex. You need hundreds of audio channels. We need complex busing and effects. There's just no way the internal audio mixer and the ATEM switches will be able to do that. So we started thinking about what we could do. We needed a new broadcast audio solution, and it has to specifically handle broadcast workflows. Simple audio mixers can't do that. But then we need to do, kind of go well beyond broadcast as well. We need something that supports native SMPTE 2110 sort of based audio as part of that whole workflow. So we want something modern that's not stuck in the past, and we need to be able to handle surround sound and spatial audio. So we've done that. It's called Fairlight Live. It's unbelievably powerful. And when you look at the features, Fairlight Live is probably the world's most powerful audio mixer. Now, unlike traditional audio mixers, Fairlight Live is a software-based mixer. That means there's no limit to really what it can do. That's how it easily handles spatial audio mixing and SMPTE 2110 broadcast workflows. And it even supports full redundancy. So Fairlight Live handles hundreds or even thousands of audio channels.
I'm surprised they
haven't done. It really
only
depends on the computer. Now, it works with standard computer
I'm
audio, but
surprised
it'll
they
also
haven't
work with
done this
USB audio
before.
devices. It's fully
I mean, they've
customizable.
had
And you get
Fairlight for
loads of
years.
built-in
I'm
effects,
surprised that they
plus you
haven't
get
done
lots
this
of
before.
broadcast
But
features,
yeah,
such as like a Q player,
Fairlight
talkback
Live,
buses, third-party plugin
So
support,
now you can do live audio
snapshots,
mixing.
and heaps more. It's very exciting. So let me go over to the computer and I can show you, so if you can sort of track down.
All I'm
Come
going to
down
say
here
is
if you
there's
get a shot
still
of
a
the computer.
lot of tables left. There's a lot
So
of
let
table
me
real
bring it
estate
up.
left. So
It's down here.
we still got more stuff to come. That's the says. We'll see.
There you go, there it is, running. Now, I won't demo this myself because it'll be too slow, but we have a video that shows the features in Fairlight Live, and it's been prepared by Mary in our Burbank office. So let's play the video and you can check it out how it works.
Welcome to Fairlight Live, a powerful, full-featured, software-based live audio mixer. Fairlight Live supports hundreds of tracks, standard formats from stereo and surround sound to immersive and spatial audio workflows. It scales to your project needs, from a simple audio podcast to a multicam talk show or a complex live broadcast sports event. Fairlight Live is loaded with broadcast features, plus a flexible busing architecture designed for 2110 modern IP workflows and ATEM switchers. Let's take a closer look. When you first launch the software, go to the File menu to open an existing show or create a new show.
I will say this. This
Here you'll have the option to create a new show
I know
from
we're
a
all here
factory
for the cameras,
template,
and I get it.
user template, or create
As
a
someone who
custom
does
show
work and resolve and
configuration
understands
to match
where
the
they
number
have been
of
with
inputs and
Fairlight,
buses for your show.
this is huge.
I'll create a setup for a
This
basic
right here is
audio-only
huge.
podcast with 2 inputs for the host
Which
and
is
guest
crazy.
microphones
Which
and 1
also
stereo
says
bus for
that
the main
so
output.
they're now entering the
You
audio
can
space.
name the inputs and buses
which
right
is,
in the mixer.
Oh, this is gonna be crazy.
Use the Preferences window to quickly set up your mics or the audio input-output device connected to your system. If you're just starting out, these could be a built-in microphone, smartphone, AirPods, or a USB audio interface. You can also use the Audio MIDI setup utility on a Mac or other third-party software to combine multiple audio sources as a multi-channel input. For this example, both mics are connected to a USB device. At the top of the mixer, click the input field to route a channel input.
He's stepping away.
And right-click the number at the
to give
top of the
himself a
channel to add
relaxation.
another input. In this case, I'll add one more input for music and assign it to the cue player. Open the handy patching matrix to quickly see how your inputs and outputs are patched and make changes if needed.
I'm not sure.
The cue player
not
is now
sure.
connected to the left and right channels of the
I
music
feel like
input.
this is going to be a whole separate program.
The Fairlight Live
but it may have
cue
some
player
connection to
lets you set
like I
up
feel like this
16
is gonna be
audio
separate.
cues for music or sound effects that can be triggered instantly with a click or keyboard shortcut. Click the Load File button
get
to
yourself some
select
coffee,
and
get
load
some
an
popcorn,
audio
just
file
spice
on
away,
your
relax.
system.
We're gonna be
Click
here.
the
We haven't
play
even got to
button on a
resolve yet. And
cue to
resolve
start
is probably going to
playback
be like another
and
45
dump
minutes.
to instantly stop playing all cues.
Yeah. But we're here for
There
the
are
long
also
run.
16 MIDI cues that can be used to trigger hardware-controlled devices like lighting or fog machines. Once your show is set up and ready for the talent, you can save it as a template to use again for the next episode. When you're working on larger shows, you need to be able to
I don't
create a
think
customized
there may
busing
be a
structure
free
with
version.
flexible
There may be
signal
a free
paths.
version like
You can
Resolve.
use the
There's a
bus
free
management
version, which I
window
think will be
to
really
add
cool.
main, sub,
There may be a
aux,
free
and
version
mix
that
minus
may have
buses.
some really
Choose their name,
limitations.
format,
But
and color.
I'm assuming
Main
there's going to be
buses
like
manage
there's going
final
to be like a
output mixes for broadcast or
$300
streaming.
version of this. We'll see.
Sub-buses act as direct patches from assigned inputs like hosts, sound effects, or music to create submixes of related channels. Quickly assign inputs to buses or buses to buses in the mixer. Hold the Option Alt key to assign a bus to all selected channels. Aux buses provide independent level and pan control with adjustable pre- or post-fader switching.
So
They can
many
also
different.
host
I
group
can already see
effects
so many different
processing
things
and create
in
custom
terms of
mixes
just
for
on
talent,
podcasts alone.
while
There's
the
so
main
many different
program
things
mix
like
remains
I'm listening to.
untouched. Dedicated mix-minus buses deliver talkback feeds with independent level and pan control and pre- or post-fader routing. That means in a live broadcast, the commentators can hear the program mix or other commentators minus their own mic to prevent feedback. Other advanced busing options are output matrix buses and VCA masters. Output matrix buses are for distributing unique mixes to multiple destinations, like stage monitors, translation feeds, or recording devices without affecting the main program mix. VCA
Oh
masters
man,
can
I got a
control the
dislike.
relative
I'm
volume of
sorry
a
you ain't
group of
enjoy yourself,
channels and
man.
buses at once with a single fader to streamline your mixes. Click the VCA field in a mixer channel to assign a VCA group. When a VCA group is assigned, a VCA master fader appears in the mixer. You can name VCAs in the Tracks Index. This interactive list offers quick access to all of your show's channels and buses. Here, you can name, rearrange, and modify channels. If you're working with large numbers of inputs and buses, the Tracks Index also offers mixer and monitoring panel visibility controls to hide or show channels and buses without affecting their sound. To help you visualize and manage your busing architecture, Fairlight Live offers a variety of designated floating windows conveniently located in the window menu.
You got to give
Here
kudos to
you'll find the bus
Blackmagic
assign window for
for
quick changes or an overview
being
of the
able to
buses
just
and their assignments
push
in either
every single
icon or list
aspect
view.
of production, whether if
There's
it's
also a
film
VCA
production,
assign window
live
to
production,
modify or see your
broadcast,
VCA assignments at a
like,
glance.
and the fact that they
For a
make it
more
so
focused
integral,
view of the
make it
channels contributing
accessible.
to a bus,
You know,
there
so
is the
it's
Bus
amazing and it's
Contributors
awesome.
window, which shows a visual layout of any selected bus. Fairlight Live has a complete set of integrated broadcast features for live production.
For everybody
To
in the chat,
communicate with
I would
your
love to
talent and
know
crew,
for
you'll find 4 talkback groups
if you
that can be
guys are
quickly set
have
up in the
used
master
Logic,
controls area and
what are
mixer.
you seeing now that
Use the
you think
talkback mic
this
settings
seems to be doing
dialog
better
to
than
adjust
Logic?
input,
At
high-pass
least by what they're
filter,
saying.
compression,
What
and
is it that
level.
you're hoping that may be missing
Manage
from here that
talkback
Logic does?
groups
I would love to
using Q
know because
conference
I
mode
love to see
and route
people
mix
that
minus
who are
buses to deliver clean
would use
feeds
this.
to remote
What would
guests
they
in
what
the
do they think of
input
it?
settings dialog. Additionally, each channel offers input delay using samples, frames, or milliseconds, which aligns signals for timing accuracy and remote gain for mic preamps adjustment at the source. Fairlight Live is designed for SMPTE 2110
Maybe
workflows
I would be
and
so
provides
happy if we
full
get floating windows.
IP-based
I mean,
broadcast
this is one of the
production.
last
This includes
few things
seamless
that I've always
connection to
wanted from them,
2110
but we'll
networks,
see.
allowing engineers to extract specific audio streams from any source, plus PTP clock synchronization, sample level delay compensation, and more. Designed to integrate with ATEM Live production switchers, Fairlight Live connects via USB-C for direct control and audio exchange. Create an ATEM
So
show from
now,
scratch,
if you think about it,
or
we
use
could
an
now
ATEM
basically
preset
do
for
all of
instant
our audio
routing and
mixing right into
bidirectional
our
control for
laptops
supported
and
ATEM
then run into an
switchers.
ATEM MIDI. I wonder which ATEMs are going to be
Supported
compatible
ATEM models
with this,
include default mixer settings and templates,
which would be
with
really cool.
inputs to match the ATEM model, along with full on-air status control. Here you can see the inputs and outputs on the ATEM Mini Extreme ISO G2, and these are the matching inputs in the Fairlight Live mixer,
I understand,
already
man.
patched
Trust
and
me.
ready to go.
I know this is a long one.
Fairlight Live supports audio
Blackmagic,
follows
especially
video
NABs,
camera
they tend to
selection
be
for
long.
up to 100 cameras, routing audio from the switcher into
Hang
the
in there,
mixer for
man.
processing and mixing
If
before
we,
returning
if we
it to the
start moving to
program
Resolve,
output. You can manage
we're
talkback and
halfway
solo
there. We'll be
monitoring
halfway
with
there.
bidirectional microphone gain
But hang
control,
in there, man.
ensuring consistent levels between systems. You can set fade curves and hold times for smooth natural transitions. AFV can be driven directly from an ATEM switcher via the active camera selection, keeping audio aligned with the video at all times. When it comes to plugins and essential processing, Fairlight Live includes a full set of built-in effects. Each input or bus features a 6-band EQ, dynamics processing, and panner for detailed control over tone and dynamics. Fairlight Live also has an extensive library of 30 native plugins, covering de-essers, reverb, delay, and more. Third-party audio unit and VST plugins are also supported.
This isn't even Resolve. This is the thing. This isn't even
The Chain
Resolve.
Effects
This is a
plugin
whole different,
can expand
like
4
a whole
effect
different
slots
software
to
application. We're
24
not even at
plugins.
Resolve yet. And but this Fairlight
There's
thing is
even a new auto
insane.
mix processor. Built-in signal generators provide you with a complete set of tools for system testing, calibration, and troubleshooting. Use the generator settings dialog to enable and adjust levels and settings for the oscillator, tones, and noise generator with options for white or pink noise. There's also a media player for playing a folder of audio files like a pre-show music playlist. And finally, a slate with independent controls to trigger any of these sources. The patching matrix dialog routes each generator source to any channel, bus, or output for system checks and alignment without external hardware. Fairlight Live has extensive keyboard customization, so you can tailor shortcuts to work faster without having to stop and click through menus. You can trigger key functions such as cue player control, player recorder,
It's very
routing
possible.
changes, and
It's
system
very
setups
possible. Yeah,
instantly.
they're probably going to be a lot of updates.
Capture your live performance
see.
in rehearsal using Fairlight Live's built-in record and playback system. Use the easy access buttons anytime in the master controls area or open the floating player and recorder window for familiar transport controls. Open the show settings window for virtual soundcheck settings specific to your current show, such as the option for time of day time code
Bro,
and starting locator 1 at
and
record start.
NM,
The
you
show
you
settings
wow for
window
that comment.
also
I can't
includes
put
specific
you
controls
wow
for
you
audio
wow for
engineers
that
to
comment.
set frame rate, solo modes, and levels. Switch between listening to an input before fader adjustments to confirm it's set at a good level, or after fader adjustments to hear how it will sound in the mix. Fairlight Live has pre-fader listen and after fader listen solo monitoring, so you can listen and audition individual channels or buses without affecting
Yeah,
the main
no,
mix.
that's
The
what I was saying,
PFL
River. Like
plus AFL option
this isn't
puts
even
2 solo buttons
resolved.
on each mixer
This
channel,
isn't even
so you can
resolved.
switch between those
This
2
is just a
listening
whole different
options.
application
There's also a set of
exclusive on
solo
Fairlight.
options for a dedicated
It's
pre-fader
crazy.
backstop mode, which keeps a consistent reference so the listening level doesn't jump suddenly when channels are soloed. Snapshots let you save and recall the entire mixer state, providing a powerful tool for show
Oh,
setup and real-time
that's funny,
control.
man.
Fairlight Live snapshots can be sequenced between different segments, such as a broadcast commentary, halftime performances, or musical acts. In this podcast example, there are 2 snapshots, and you can see in the mixer that the remote guest input is muted with the fader down. You can load the next snapshot by
NM,
clicking the button on the
are you going to take
snapshot
the over
window,
under of that 10
using a
years?
keyboard shortcut, or pressing the
Let me know. Are you
snapshot
going to take
button
the over
on
or
the
the under?
Fairlight Live console. Use the global recall controls to determine which channels and buses are recalled and updated when a snapshot is recalled. Isolated channels will not be changed. Recall speed controls the rate of the automation between snapshots to create a smooth transition. Multiple Fairlight Live stations can work together on the same show for redundancy, prep, and distributed workflows. The primary mode operates the full-featured system, providing complete control of all inputs and outputs within the mixer. Failsafe mode uses a secondary system that mirrors the primary, ready to step in if a failure occurs. Prep mode allows you to build and test shows offline without affecting the live system. In addition to primary and backup engines, Fairlight Live lets you control the mix from separate computers, extending operation beyond a single system. Remote mode supports
Wait,
multiple
what?
operators on
A rem-
separate computers.
what?
You can hand off a section of the mix from the primary to a remote operator, who updates only the assigned channels or parameters in real time. The system supports
Yo,
2
that is
simultaneous
sick.
remote control machines with sync status
Yo, that
indicators
remote
and
thing is
dedicated
sick.
talkback for coordination.
Yo,
Fairlight Live has a
I know some
secure
live
on-air
band
mode,
studios that
which
are going to
locks out other
love
users to
this.
prevent accidental
Actually, I know
changes to
one
the
in
main
particular that is
audio
going to
outputs during
love
live
this.
productions.
They're going to love
On-air
this.
mode also synchronizes the on-air status with an ATEM switcher, ensuring the mixer accurately reflects your program status. If you are used to mixing with a tablet or other mixing
You're right.
surface,
They're
Fairlight
still
Live
working on
also
extending the
supports
table.
third-party
The
control
table's still being
surfaces and
getting
tablet
extended.
apps. You can add mixing control to Fairlight Live using Mackie MCU controllers and OSC-based iPad or tablet control. I hope this gives you an idea of some of the powerful features in Fairlight Live and what it can
Oh,
do.
this is
For
some.
more
This is only
information, go to
some of the features. Only some.
blackmagicdesign.com.
Only
Thank
some.
you for watching.
So you can see how powerful Fairlight Live is. You know, it's been designed for modern SMPTE 2110 workflows. I'll come back down this way. So, you know, we need to connect to these SMPTE 2110 systems. So like all the new equipment we've been working on, we have an adapter for that.
Totally
It's
agree.
called the Fairlight Live 2110 IP audio adapter. It's a small converter that can be rack mounted. It'll be available later in the year. But however, what's the most exciting part of this though, is the ATEM switches. So we've also been working on updates for all the ATEM switches.
Okay, so
That's because the audio, all the audio currently is going into the ATEM switcher. So it has everything at the moment, including talkback. So adding USB audio to the ATEM switches would let us get to that audio.
so talk
Now
back.
the update we've been working on will work on most ATEM models that have the webcam support. So the software update will let you switch the USB from webcam to USB audio, and then you get multi-channel audio from all the inputs of the ATEM through the USB. And then Fairlight Live can see those inputs and it can get all the audio. Then Fairlight Live can push the audio back into the ATEM switcher where it overrides the internal audio mixer. So you can use the Fairlight Live to take over the audio mixing.
So
now we don't have all the switches supported yet. We're kind of working on this.
But
we have support for the 1 and 2 ME ATEM Constellation 4K models.
That seems great.
It's also
for
supported
like
on the
the
ATEM
newer
12
ATEMs, like the
4K
ATEM Mini
models.
Extremes that have
Plus
two
it's supported on the ATEM Mini Pro and the
USB-Cs.
ATEM Mini Extreme
This
models.
does not sound
we'll be
great
adding
for like
more
my
models
ATEM
over the
Mini
next
Pro,
few
which
weeks.
only has one,
So you
because
get a
then I
number
have to
of
choose
different
audio
audio
mixing,
channels depending
or
on the
do I have to
ATEM model
choose
in what the hardware can do.
which I'm going to choose
on
a
some
webcam
models
because
you can
that's
even
how I
route
do
the
these
audio.
streams.
And Fairlight does that. Fairlight Live can take control of the internal ATEM audio routing. The audio engineer can then just basically get any audio they need from the switcher. They can also access the channels 15 and 16 for the talkback. Fairlight Live has talkback buses.
I don't think Grant
so you
does
can manage
emails.
complex talkback with
After
it.
many years
Like
of
on ATEM
doing live
Constellation
stream
4K
watches,
switches, you could embed
I have a feeling
different
Grant
audio into
doesn't
different
do
SDI
emails.
outputs. So you could send different SDI outputs to different cameras and you could have isolated talkback buses, which would be really cool. And they'd have different audio sources. And you can essentially create mixes for those talkback buses. Plus, because Fairlight Live talks to the ATEM switcher, it can also do audio follow video, but it's not locked to just specific inputs.
River,
it can actually do
I
complex
can't
mixes
put this
based
up.
on the
You
ATEM
you
input that's
for
on
that
air.
comment.
So it's going to be a really nice update. So Fairlight Live is going to be a big update for ATEM users.
Y'all are
and
wilding
so I think,
in the chat right
it'll
now.
be really exciting. I mean, I can't wait to see what people do with it. Now, Fairlight Live will be available
It's
to
free!
download today free of
Free?
charge. There's no in-app purchases or anything like that. We just want all our ATEM customers to have it, kind of as a thank you for buying a switcher. We really want people to be able to use
was not
Fairlight
expecting
Live.
free.
And, it's so much
Completely
more powerful
free.
than the built-in audio mixer.
Wow.
Actually, I think it's more powerful than any audio mixer. And when you play with it, you realize it doesn't feel like a kind of version 1 software update. It's got so many features, it feels more like a version 10. But the best news, it'll be available today as the public beta. So I think it'll be really exciting to download and try it and see what it's like. Plus, we'll have software updates for the ATEM switches, which will also be free of charge. We're going to go public beta with
all
those
these betas,
today.
ATEM Mini Pro,
So you'll be
ATEM
able
Mini
to
Pro.
download
Again,
the software and get
I don't
USB
know,
audio
because
from
you
your
would lose
switcher.
the webcam.
Then you can
I
try
don't know how I
Fairlight
feel about
Live,
that.
and
But
I
I'm
really
glad
can't
that
wait to
we
see
get
what
all
people
this
do
update.
with it
So
once they start
so
working
now
with it.
this is the reason why they wanted
But
this
there's again,
the
of
Monday,
course, only
because
so far you
the
can
stream
go
would
with a
go
software audio
because the
mixer.
stream
You
needed
need
some
faders
extended time to
and a
make
control
it to
surface.
Friday.
We've done that. It's called Fairlight Live Audio Panel 10. It's basically an audio panel with 10 flying faders. Let me bring it out and show you. It's over here.
So yeah, now they're making audio hardware
is.
products.
So you can see the design is really dominated by this large LCD here. It's an 11.5-inch LCD, which means you get 10 inches along the bottom there. So it's an inch spacing between the channel strips, which is a really nice balance between density
I was surprised by
and having enough space around to control the knobs and things. Let me show you the back. So you can see there. So what we've done here is we've built a video converter into the panel. You know, it's a broadcast panel, so you need broadcast monitoring. So we have 2 redundant 10G Ethernet ports for 2110 IP video, and then the video is converted out to a HDMI output, so you can plug in a monitor. There's also 2 balanced XLR line outputs, which means you can plug in some local powered speakers. And plus, because it's a video converter, we can also add talkback. But it's also an audio panel, so we've got 2 different types of headsets. So you can plug in a 5-pin XLR headset, like a talkback headset, or you can connect separate microphone and headphone connections. There's also an Ethernet control connector. Now that's the audio panel's main control connector, and that plugs into the computer that's running Fairlight Live, so you can talk to the panel. But there's also USB-C on the back panel, and it's an alternative connection, which actually we'll use today. It lets you plug directly into the Fairlight Live computer.
Trevor, I'm
and makes
almost
the setup
certain.
really
I'm
simple.
almost
Plus, also
certain
the
they're
USB
using a
outputs power,
teleprompter
so you can keep the
on the
computer
camera that
charged.
he's looking at.
And lastly, you can see there's an AC input on the back. Plus, we have a
I'm
broadcast
almost.
12-volt
I'm
DC power
absolutely.
connection for like a
if I-
backup
I,
power
I think
supply,
I even seen
which
him
is
do it
convenient
live
having
when
all
I was
this
at
converter
NAB a few
built
years
into
ago.
the panel. It
I'm almost
basically
certain
eliminates all the
he's looking
complexity
at
around
a
your work area.
teleprompter.
But anyway, let's plug in the Fairlight Live panel and show how it works. So I'll swing it back around. So there it is there. So let me put some power.
That is going to be.
Whoops.
That is going to be interesting.
And
I
I'll
agree,
plug in
man. That is
USB.
going to be so interesting. Yeah,
So I've
it's
just got a
going to
USB
be.
connection down to the Fairlight Live
Have
computer.
to get a very unique case for that. Or you're gonna
it's
just
there
have to
if
get
you
a very
get
large
in
case. It could have been we could have
on
condensed
the,
it.
there it is. It's all connected up. So that's actually connected down there. So if you can get in on the
Oh,
LCD
I
there,
know
I can
some
show
audio
you
visual.
kind of some of the functionality. If you can get in
So
close
many
on
audio
that.
visual companies are
So you
going
can see we have all the audio faders along
love
here.
this.
Now if you look down at the
AV
channel strips
techs.
down here, we've got
Oh, AV techs are going
knobs
to
and
have
we've got,
a field
obviously we've got
day.
the flying
They're
fader
gonna
and we've got
have
the
so
select
much
and the
fun
solo
with
and the
this.
mute buttons. But these knobs are represented by the displays along the bottom here.
Like
you
my
see the
old
channels.
days in the AV world, I'm just like.
And so when we go into,
it
say,
is
a function
giddying
like
right now.
EQ, you can see what we now get on the LCD is we get these buttons along the top are represented here, and these knobs on the deck here are represented across here.
Oh.
So I can adjust the EQ. And these controls, I'm not sure if you can get in there and see that, but these controls are adjusting that.
I 100%
And of course
agree.
I've got compressor, so you can see they change. So I can now change, you can see the gain, negative gain coming in.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool. So that's the controls
I
there,
never
and of course the
understood.
buttons.
Again, I don't
And you can
understand their
page
naming.
across as well.
The mini color
Then
panel.
I can come down
but
to
it's
like,
like this giant
got 3D
whole
panning, you know.
panel.
Also, one thing
Even
that's
the
worth noting is that
micro
when you
color
have any of
panel
these
is
displays
not
up, and I'm
really
just on the
micro.
main
I get it's
channel
small
controls, I've got
compared
it
to
full
the
height of the
standard
screen,
color
but when I
panel.
go into
but
any of these screens,
not
it
small. It's not
shrinks the
micro.
entire channel display down to here. So I use the top height of the screen for the specific function I'm in, but I still have an overview of what's going on down the bottom, including even the pan. So you can still see
Like
the
I
pan
said,
control there.
So
if I go down
all
into
my AV
pan, I've got 3D panning.
technician friends that
So you can
I
see
know,
forward and back. You can see it actually zooming in,
they're
coming forward and back.
gonna love this.
So I can move around in 3D space. It's awesome. And then I can, oops, I've got all kinds of things. I can go back to the home menu. I've got different layers.
I
can
agree. I pity the fool who
move
doubts
between different
Blackmagic.
layers. I've got all the functionality that Mary just talked about in Fairlight Live is actually represented in these sections here.
That is
So
the
it's really
question.
cool.
So
And I
maybe
can
we'll
also
hear
do other things, like I can see the masters along the top by pushing this button, or I can go and see an overview of all the audio on the panel. So that's really cool. So it's exciting. So we think it's an incredibly premium panel. I've just done a quick overview here, but we really wanted something that matched Fairlight Live's features and its elegance, Plus we didn't, you can use simple third-party panels. They work with Fairlight Live, but we wanted something much better. Something less
almost
sort of
certain there's gonna
generic
be a
and a design with
bigger
really the
version.
features that take advantage of Fairlight Live. But I just love this big LCD. It makes it so easy to use. It's like its character
going
comes through on the
1600.
screen. So this new Fairlight Live Audio Panel 10
Oh,
will be priced at
Jess,
$2,195.
Jess was the closest.
We think it'll ship around July.
2200.
However, that's not all
Jess,
we've
you were
done.
the closest.
We've also done a 20 fader panel. And this model's called the Fairlight Live Audio Panel 20. It's exactly the same design as the 10 fader panel, but it's double the width. Let me bring it out and show you.
Man,
It's over
the
here.
Morrison, you called it.
Quite a lot bigger.
We had to get a bigger one. And there's you notice there's still more tables. We still got more
as you can
tables.
see, it's got two LCDs. The back's the same, but with one difference. Actually, this one has two AC power supplies built in for redundancy. So it looks so nice. When the panel gets wider, it actually kind of looks sort of more professional. It's really quite cool. So this model, the Fairlight Live Audio Panel 20, will be priced at $3,495. It's still very affordable for this many broadcast features. However, I've also done a third model. This one's even bigger. It's got 40 faders. It's called the Fairlight Live Audio Panel 40. So let me bring this model out and show you. Now it's actually too large for me to lift, so I'll get the guys to bring it out. Can you guys bring this out? We've got a slide
We got
up so you
hey,
can stick in and do it.
we got a big.
So this one is very wide. Looks insane, actually. Oh, cool. That looks great.
So
There it is. So if we bring over here, in fact, I'll so you can see it's quite wide. It's means it can do very
We've
complex
reached the
jobs.
end-
I'll plug
well,
in
we've
the
reached the end of the
power.
table.
The power's already in, and I'll plug in the USB.
we finally have reached the end of the table.
See it come up. So it means this one can do very complex jobs. You know, we really need a panel this big to keep up with the features in Fairlight Live. Plus larger broadcasters, you see that's
I want to just say,
larger broadcasters do
whatever
very
happens
complex
from
work
this
and still
point on,
need
I
a
want
panel
to
that
thank
really
you guys
supports
for
that. You
sitting
also
through
notice the
with me
controls have been
and
moved into the
going
center.
through this live stream.
So you don't need to reach too far across for the slide.
I've been having a
the
blast
controls on
with
the
you
side.
guys.
So you can see I can, I've got the layers. You know, I can bring up EQ.
But it's not looking good. We've ran out of tables. We're out of tables. It's not looking good.
So this is all running off a simple laptop, which I'll show you. This is actually shows you really what Fairlight Live can do. So there it is there, see that? Now that's a MacBook Neo and it's running Fairlight Live. This is the whole 40 fader panel. It's a $600 laptop, but it's doing over 300 channels of audio with Fairlight Live.
40 faders.
So I think this really shows you how powerful this is. Even low-cost computers can be incredibly powerful audio mixers. So now this Fairlight Live Audio Panel 40 model will retail for $7,495, which is a lot
actually
less
cheaper
than
than I thought it would be.
broadcast audio solutions of this
That's a
size.
lot cheaper than I thought it would be.
But we think these panels really exceed anything anybody's asked us to do. Like the number one thing we get, the number one request we get is for better audio in the ATEM switches, and to make also a better panel that you can use with the ATEM switches. Yeah, people wanted a hardware panel for the ATEM audio mixer, but we think using Fairlight Live is a much better solution. It's way more powerful. And also it's a free update for ATEM users. So then of course these panels really complement the software. So we think it's very exciting. And these panels just look so nice. The guys have done such a great job. Okay, so next up, let's talk about Davinci Resolve 21. So it's
All
quite a
right,
big
so
update
now
this year.
we're on
and we
21.
spent a lot of time on small
on
bug fixes
21.
and refinements. In fact, it was almost going to be the primary thing was just a lot of bug fixes this year. But there's a bunch of other new things that have made it in. So the big thing is this new is a new photos page. We've got a lot of people that want to use DaVinci's color tools on photography. Yeah, the color tools in DaVinci Resolve
so
are
we
the
can
most advanced in the world.
Photoshop
And so why not use them on
Resolve?
photography? We have also a lot of new AI tools this year. So there's quite a lot in this update. So as usual, we've got a video that explains all the new features. So let's play the video and you'll see what's new in DaVinci Resolve 21.
Whoever was still left on Adobe,
DaVinci Resolve
RP.
21 introduces a new generation of AI tools for better media management, higher video quality, and advanced beauty work. There is now a brand new photo page and workflow that lets you use DaVinci's Hollywood feature film color grading tools for photography.
So we
the edit
actually
and cut
got
pages
like
have improved
Photoshop.
keyframing and curve functionality, as well as a new font browser. In the color page, you can now prepare your timelines for multiple format deliveries with multi-master trim pass grading and updates to the node editor. Fusion now
So
comes
we got
with
Blackmagic
a
exec.
library
I
and
made
an
it. I
upgraded
got
USD
Blackmagic
and
exec
immersive
in the
toolset.
chat.
In Fairlight, organize audio tracks using the new folder feature. Save countless hours with background rendering, and discover over 100 other new features, including updates for immersive and VR workflows. Let's get started. The latest AI tools will optimize your workflows and help you produce your cleanest, most dynamic images ever. Use AI IntelliSearch to instantly find objects or people in your media. Begin by selecting your IntelliSearch mode in the media pool options. Then click AI Clip Analysis in the toolbar. Select your analysis criteria and click Analyze. Upon completion, you are able to use the search field in the media pool to find media based on content like objects, locations, color schemes, and even specific faces.
Sick.
Click the search icon in the toolbar to indicate whether you'd like your search to be based on the IntelliSearch analysis, the transcribed audio, the clip metadata, or leave it on default to search all.
Oh, this is sick.
You can also opt to search the active bin or all bins. And set the search results to list full clip matches or just the matching segments of each clip, which behave like subclips when added to the media pool. This tool will enable you to quickly cut scenes, find appropriate cutaways, and build dynamic montages.
Yes.
One of the new identification criteria is AI Slate ID, which automatically detects slates in a shot and reads their metadata. When running AI clip analysis, ensure analysis for slate is enabled. After analysis, duration markers will highlight the start and end frames of the slate. The AI Slate ID can detect scene, take, angle, shoot day, and other metadata, and offer options to populate those fields in the metadata panel. AI Slate ID is extremely proficient at reading data, even when working with underlit or poorly captured slates.
I'm sorry, I don't care if they announce another camera.
The AI
This
speech generator
is
creates
sick.
high-quality spoken audio from written text for natural-sounding voiceover and narration. Use one of Blackmagic Design's preloaded voice models or generate your own based on a sample of your voice.
This is the true story of their historic climb into an active volcano in Antarctica.
Oh, this
Find
is
it in the timeline menu under AI Tools Speech Generator. Enter your desired text in the text input field and select one of 4 voice models or your own custom voice. The voice settings allow you to change the speed and pitch of the delivery as well as the variation from the original voice model sample.
the only thing.
Generation IDs provide unique performances of the given text,
Well, that's
changing
the-
inflection, cadence, and emotion.
This is a true story. This is a true story. And this is a true story.
The only thing I'll say is
If you have a
I
preferred
wish
delivery,
there was like some
you can reuse the generation
regional,
ID
that,
for
like,
repeatable results
British,
when experimenting with speed,
Australia,
variance, and pitch, or when generating
Nigeria,
multiple clips to build a longer narration. Next,
Japanese. I wish there
indicate
was
if you'd like
some-
the speech
I
to
w- I
appear
just
in
wish
a
there was
media
some
pool only
variations
or
with
also
that.
on a
But
specific
this is
audio track.
This is dope.
You can generate multiple performances and audition the ones you want to use in your final project. Using the custom voice model will prompt you to upload a sample audio file. Analysis of source audio for custom voice generation requires only a short reference, 10 seconds or less, to produce high-quality voice models quickly. And this is the true story of their historic climb into an active volcano in Antarctica. Use AI Cine Focus to set the focus of a shot with a click of your mouse.
What?
The out-of-focus areas will feature realistic lens blur and bokeh
Get the-
effects,
get outta
allowing you to
here.
draw the viewer's eye on
Get
what
out of
matters.
here. No.
Extensive controls in the settings allow you to
No.
customize aperture size, focus distance, depth of field, and many more parameters.
This is sick.
Use the tabs at the top to preview the scene's depth map, the frame's area of focus, the aperture configuration, and the end result. Keyframe parameters, such as focus distance, to emulate racking focus. You can even adjust the bokeh shape and add chromatic aberration. Davinci Resolve 21 features more beauty and face effects than ever before. The AI blemish removal tool identifies and reduces superficial skin imperfections such as acne, discoloration, spots, and pores,
I'll
while
see how that
retaining the
works.
appearance of natural
I've
skin
been-
texture.
I've been.
Use the strength
I
slider
have
to adjust the
not
intensity of the tool
been-
to better
it
suit
looks
the subject
good.
in the
It
scene.
looks cool. I've never been.
Use the AI Age Transformer to
It's never
age or
been-
de-age a face.
It
The
hasn't
controls are simple.
been
Start by
natural.
detecting the faces in the frame, and then use the tracking controls to follow their movement.
Wait, age did
Enter
fade?
the subject's
What?
approximate age, and then use the age offset slider to make them appear younger or older. This is perfect for continuity when producing
Well,
stories
everybody's.
that span many
well,
years.
wait, I guess now everybody's gonna be using Resolve for their new filters.
The AI Facer Shaper allows you to adjust the size and
We're
shape
about
of
to make
individual
ourselves
facial features.
look 20 years younger.
Detect and track the
I'm
desired
about to-
face in the
I'm
frame
about
and
to-
disable the overlay.
I'm about to turn
Then use
myself.
the
I'm
tool's
gonna
parameter
be not
sliders
looking.
to
I'm
position,
only looking 20
proportion, and
all the
animate
time now.
face shape, eyes, nose, mouth, and eyebrows. Use it to push up performance, for comedy and horror, or to animate static images. The new AI Ultra Sharpen is Davinci Resolve's most advanced sharpening tool to date. It's perfect for producing clearer images with fewer artifacts when upscaling low-resolution media to HD, 4K, and above. It can even improve the appearance of soft focus shots. AI Motion to Blur helps with the removal
From
of
this
common
point on, I'm
motion
just
blur
going to. I'm just going.
artifacts
I'm
and
just going to be
softness.
28 from
To
this point
apply,
on.
select one or more clips in the media pool, right-click and choose AI Tools Remove Motion Blur. Review the file name, format, and other settings before clicking Render. This will generate a motion deblurred copy of your original file and add it to the media pool.
Oh, what?
Davinci Resolve 21 now
No,
features
oh.
a fully integrated photo page and workflow for native image processing with the same high-end color grading tools used by Hollywood. It is designed to help you organize and adjust your photographs at source resolution and then use Davinci Resolve's native color management and grading tools such as the primaries wheels, curves, qualifiers, and hundreds of other effects to get results only previously possible in feature films. Working with nodes allows you to build advanced looks that go beyond the capabilities of layers. And you can use Davinci Resolve's built-in scopes to ensure maximum precision when handling the image. Take advantage of the Resolve effects and AI tools for more complex composites and work even faster with Davinci Resolve's color panels.
Oh, so we're getting
To
more
get started,
looks.
import your photos into the media pool. Blackmagic Design has worked closely with camera manufacturers to extend native format support for still raw images from Canon, Sony, Nikon, and Fujifilm, as well as other image formats like JPEG, PNG,
Yes.
HEIC, and others. In the photo page, select the desired clips and right-click to create a new album. The photos will appear in an album panel along the bottom of the page.
Let this be
Navigate
the
the
day
thumbnails to
that
review
the
them,
day
and use the viewer
Adobe
controls
finally
in the
died.
lower right
I
to tag
really would
photos as
love
good
to
take and
see.
rejected,
I really
change
would love to
versions,
see the
rate photos on a 5-star scale,
to see
change
how
clip colors,
Adobe's
and mark
stock
them.
price is
You
going
can
to
then use the
be
filters
after
to the
this
left of the
announcement.
album panel to display photos with certain tags, ratings, and attributes, helping you quickly
R.I.P.
manage
Adobe.
thousands of still images.
I ain't gonna miss you.
The inspector panel on the right of the photo page features a raw tab that allows
Yes,
you to
smash
set
that
the
like
native
button.
debayer
Come
and
on,
color management
let's go to
parameters
us.
of each photo.
There's 85 people
In the
here.
photo tab, you
I
can
only see
adjust the
20.
source
We got 24
transforms
likes.
and
Let's smash
cropping.
it.
When you navigate to other DaVinci Resolve pages, albums will appear like timelines. In the color page, you can add more nodes and use DaVinci Resolve's color tools and effects to create more complex looks. You can also use DaVinci Resolve's AI toolset on photos, including the new AI IntelliSearch, which will allow you to search for photographs based on content.
Yo.
You can also use lookup
Oh my
tables,
gosh.
DCTLs, and open effects for even more flexibility.
Oh.
The adjustments you make to the photos are retained within the media pool clip itself. This means that when you drag a photo onto one of your video projects, it will already have the raw settings, transforms, grades, and effects that you had applied to it in the
That
album.
is sick.
The capture panel allows for the monitoring, control, and tethered live capture of images from attached Sony and Canon cameras directly into the media pool. Additionally, the photo workflow can be used in multi-user collaboration mode and synced via Blackmagic Cloud. This means that multiple people can access an album simultaneously, speeding up the review and approval process. And when finished, you can use the Quick Export button to export batches of images in various image formats. With GPU acceleration, large numbers of images are processed very quickly.
Wow.
The Cut and Edit pages share several new features and many updates to existing tools. Substantial improvements have been made to the keyframes and curves palettes for the easiest, most efficient animation ever. There are now more easing options, as well as support for looping, allowing you to quickly automate
Why is
repeating
there so
actions
much hate
using the
towards
loop,
Adobe?
ping pong,
Because
and relative modes.
Adobe just
The
basically
retime
has
curves
been
now support
egregious
4-point
with
Beziers for complex
one,
retiming
just
effects,
how they've done
like easing
splitting
into a
everything
freeze
up
frame.
with this gone. What's
You
they
can
going
now
with the
view,
subscription.
keyframe, and
then the
ease
fact that
fusion
they made
effects
it
without
such an
leaving the
effort
edit or
to
cut
make sure
pages.
you couldn't
This
cancel
allows for a
when
more
you didn't need to
uninterrupted
use it.
editing workflow. It is now
Adobe
also
has been
possible
on
to
my
adjust the keyframes and
been on my
curves
shit
on
list
multiple
for like
timeline clips at
years,
once to avoid
and
having
that's
to
why
repeat actions.
for years I've
And
never
there is
touched an
subframe
Adobe
support for
after
markers and
leaving
certain
Premiere
keyframe
and
parameters
Resolve.
on the timeline to help you better align animation to audio subframes, a crucial feature if you're trying to animate to beats or musical cues. There have been several improvements made to the text generators. DaVinci Resolve 21 comes with a multi-language text spell checker. Spelling mistakes are highlighted in the
We
inspector
finally
text
got
box
spell
and
checker.
the viewer when the
Yes.
fusion
Oh
overlay
my
is
God.
enabled.
Yes. Thank you.
Right-click a word to preview
I don't know
suggested
how many times
replacements,
I've messed
learn
up
spelling,
on
or
typing
ignore the
something.
word.
Oh, that's
When
great.
selecting a font, hovering over the font list now displays your text in that font so you can addition it prior to making your decision. You can also launch the font browser window to preview, favorite, and search your fonts. And emojis are now supported. You can now drag OGraph HTML graphics
I
directly
think
into
they're
the
going
media
to.
pool and
I
onto
think
your
we're finally going to
timeline.
have to do a paid
Lottie
upgrade
animation
for this.
files are also
I mean,
supported.
It's
They
been a
will
long time,
appear as
and
fully
Grant
rendered
has kind
animation
of
clips
hinted
when
for a
added to your
while
project.
that
Alpha channels in
we
both
may
are
have to
recognized,
pay for
meaning
the
you
next
can
one.
layer your
He's
graphics
been
and
hinting at it
titles
for a while,
over video
and there may
tracks.
even be a subscription.
Use the new
But as long
picture-in-picture
as that
resolve
there's
effect
like a
to quickly
one-time fee
resize and
option, if
reposition the
there's
video
something where it's
clip
like you got to
into
pay
the
for
corner
subscription,
of the
fine.
viewer frame.
For like
This
the serious
allows you to
event
quickly
stuff,
prepare your
okay.
timeline for
But if it's
presentations,
as long as there's like a
reviews, and
one-time fee
reaction
where I can
videos.
pay it, I can buy
Open the
Resolve,
inspector
and
to
it's
tweak
mine.
parameters such as
I don't have to
position,
pay
frame
like
rounding,
just
drop
do
shadow,
full-on
and many
subscription.
more.
I'll be happy with that.
When syncing multicam clips, you now have the option to include full clip extents when syncing
But
by
I
in and
feel
out
like
points
this
or
we're finally
markers.
going to have to do a one-time paid
Additionally,
upgrade,
you can
which
opt to include all
I
audio
think is.
angles in each
I'll
multicam
be
clip,
honest, I think it's
allowing you
just
to
because
easily choose the best
got so
possible
much
audio,
stuff
even
with
if it was
Resolve for
synced to
free
a
for so
different
long.
camera. When dragging mono clips into a stereo audio track on the timeline,
doesn't think we'll
the
do
audio will
subscription.
now
I don't think
automatically
they'll
play
do
in
it.
both the
I
left
think it will
and
be
right
like
channels.
a
There
secondary
are also
option that you
multiple
may have, but
performance improvements
I,
made to the
I,
transcription
he
feature.
has Grant
Among them
has
is the
hinted that
ability to perform
they
word
may have to
timing
go to a
analysis for
subscription.
manually entered or imported captions. This means that word-level highlighting is no longer limited to subtitles generated in DaVinci Resolve. Also, in cases where you make corrections to internally generated subtitles, you can reanalyze the caption to get accurate word timing. Let's take a look at some media pool and
spell
metadata
check
updates
finally.
that you will find throughout the DaVinci Resolve 21 interface. The media pool now supports tabbed layouts. Right-click
Yeah,
a
I
bin
know.
and
Goodbye,
select
goodbye
Open as a new
Lightroom.
tab to more quickly navigate bins in the media pool. Right-click a
Adobe's
tab to add a new one,
the
navigate, or
the
close it.
execs in Adobe are
Or
shitting
use
their
the search
pants right
function
now.
in the drop-down to the right of the tab bar to quickly find a specific tab. You can tab conventional bins as well as smart bins and power bins. You can now set up any bin to always open in metadata, thumbnail, or list view. For example, you might always want to see video clips in thumbnail view and timelines in list view. After setting the media pool to thumbnail view, right-click the video bin and choose Always Open in Thumbnail View. Next, go to the timeline bin and change the view to list. Right-click and choose Always Open in List View. When jumping between these bins, they now retain their respective layouts. The 5-star rating and tagging options mentioned in the photo page are available across all content in the media pool. Right-click a column to reveal customization controls. Then search for and add these fields to your media pool columns. You can then populate these fields in the metadata panel when reviewing your content. There is now also a new transcription column, allowing you to see transcribed audio locally in your bin in text form. And in the cut page, smart bins are now supported. Use the bin list drop-down in the upper left of the media pool to access and generate sophisticated media pool filters based on a wide range of rules and criteria, such as displaying only Blackmagic raw clips that have been flagged green. In the color page, the new multi-master trim manager helps you set up multiple grade trims from a single timeline. Go to Color, Multi-Master Trim Manager to get started. Here, you can add, remove, and rename project-wide trim passes and indicate different monitoring, output, and color management settings for each. When enabled, you will see additional layers in the color page's node editor, allowing you to apply trims after the clip layers, as well as before and after the group and timeline layers. In the output sizing controls, you can select Use Trim Blanking to apply custom letterboxing per trim.
So it's like you say it's cheap.
You can then use the Node
but
Grabs
compared to
options
what
menu to
Resolve
quickly
offers,
switch
and it's
between
a
your trim
much
passes.
and it's a
The
much
main
more
node graph,
stable
which includes all
software
the clip node
versus
stack
Adobe,
layers
especially with
and
Premiere.
the group pre and
It's
post
not.
clip
It
levels,
doesn't make
are part of the
the
timeline's
value
hero
never
grade.
makes sense. I'm
Any
sorry.
changes
To
you
me, it
apply
just
here
doesn't.
will carry across all trims, making it easier than ever to prepare deliverables from multiple formats while working on a single consistent grade. When ready to render your project,
Exactly.
you will now see a trim
Adobe
pass
was too
option
greedy
in the
with
render
everything.
settings, allowing you to queue up all your trim pass jobs in one go. When using the Magic Mask palette, you can now go to the Options menu and choose Render in Place to generate an external matte of your tracked masks. This rendered file will automatically be imported and connected to your active node as an external matte. This helps preserve Magic Mask track data even when clearing your cache and facilitates faster playback on most workstations. In the upper right corner of the node graph, you can now choose to view your nodes in layer list mode. This simplified view makes it easier to read the order of operations and add, lock, bypass, and remove nodes. In the project settings, you can now opt to have up to 8 node stack layers for more complex grading operations and to support a wider range of color grading workflows. When working with groups, you can now have different group grade versions, allowing you to more easily try out different looks for your scenes. When working on HDR projects, you can now customize the nit range displayed in the scopes to better represent the signal range to which you will be delivering.
If there's a camera, I would love
And
to see it,
the
but
new standard
this
immersive
is
workflow
enough for
brings
me.
dedicated lat-long workflows and rotational transform controls for VR 180 and VR 360 video deliveries for the Meta Quest and YouTube. There have also been major improvements made to the Resolve Apple
We're
immersive
not asking
workflow
for.
for
I'm not asking
high-fidelity
for free
renders
though
to the
with
Apple Vision Pro.
Adobe. I just say a
In
one-time
Fairlight,
payment.
you can now organize
Subscription was
audio
the
tracks
problem.
into folders
It's the
for
fact
better
that they
track
made
management.
a one-time
Select
purchase
2 or
option,
more audio
even if it was
tracks,
like the
right-click
thousands of
and
dollars
choose
like you
Add
could
Tracks to
before,
New
man.
Folder.
At least give
A
the
folder
option.
track is
But the fact
created
that they
featuring
never
a
gave
composite
that
view
option,
of all the
meaning you
audio
could
tracks
never actually
represented by
completely
mini
own the
rectangles.
software, was
Click
the
the
problem.
expansion arrow next to the folder
And
name to
I
collapse
feel
and
like
expand
I
the
don't care if
folder,
it wasn't
revealing
free.
the original tracks
It
with clips and
shouldn't be,
waveforms.
but it shouldn't just
Folders
be a
can be
subscription
renamed and
to
nested up
make
to
it
3
work.
levels, allowing for efficient organization in timelines featuring dozens or even hundreds of tracks. The Fusion page has several major updates, the first being the introduction of the new Fairlight animator modifier.
Though the thing was, you could
This
cancel
enables
now, but it
automatic
wasn't. There was
animation
actually an
based
issue.
on
They
embedded
had a whole
audio
lawsuit
levels.
where there was certain things written in that
A new macro
you
editor
couldn't
window
cancel
means that
without
creating
taking
Fusion
a
templates
huge
has never been easier.
fee hit that you didn't
As you
agree
add parameters
that you
to the
didn't even know
template
you
or
had to
macro,
agree to.
these controls will pop up on the right side of the window. You can reorder controls, add separators, create nested controls, and even save this macro as a template to be used on the edit page. With the new Multi-Inspector button, you can edit common properties that are shared among the selected nodes. After selecting multiple nodes, click the Multi-Inspector button and common properties will be listed in the inspector. Now, when you adjust one of the properties, all the selected nodes will be updated. In addition to controlling multiple nodes at once, you can also control multiple layers in a single node, such as with the multi-poly or multi-merge nodes. Fusion's lens distortion tool now allows you to analyze
Yep,
checkerboard grids
they
on
got
a single
Dolby on the
frame
table
or a
working
range of
it.
frames to derive a lens distortion solve. This is essential when
Dolby's
unwarping
working on the
footage
new
for
table.
3D camera tracking or for warping 3D renders so that they match the camera's natural lens distortion.
Oh, that is
Fusion's native 3D renderer now enables cryptomatte data for both objects and materials, allowing you to build complex mattes without multiple renders.
dope. Oh, this is sick.
The Relief Map tools, Create Relief Map and Relief Map, let you create detailed surface textures that self-occlude and do not require subdividing geometry.
That's what I'm saying, man. Yo, like
Fusion's
I'm always,
Deep toolset
I'm
now
always
includes full
amazed by
layer
what
support.
they've put in Resolve.
And a new Deep Color Corrector node enables color correction directly on deep images without having to convert to a flat image first. Fusion's USD system has been updated to the USD SDK 25.11 with Hydra 2.0 for the Storm renderer. The U-Loader node now includes global in and out controls,
Oh, this is sick.
and the U-Renderer node includes NI as an output option, which provides camera relative normals that are essential for relighting. With the Is Matte checkbox, you can designate geometry to be rendered as a matte to occlude other objects in the scene. Finally, the new U-Projector and U-Catcher nodes enable projecting images across your USD
So,
scene
just
as
to
an
let you
image
know,
to add details
that
to your geometry,
Blackmagic
or as a
does
texture for
offer
reprojection
has like
workflows.
videos that have tutorials, and they do free.
Several updates have
they
been
do
made for
free
stereoscopic and
classes
immersive workflows
on
in Fusion.
every time they do
Media
a new
in nodes
update.
can now be
they
set to
do
layers
free,
so that you can
free class
process
where you can
both
go
the
and you can
right
sort
and
of
left
also
eyes
do a
in a
little
single
exam
node tree.
that will help you gain your knowledge. But
You can now also create Fusion effects and title templates that are compatible with stereoscopic and immersive clips.
to write the books, but
There are
keep an
several
eye out for
updates
that
to the text
because they
and
always
multi-text
offer like
tools. These tools
free
now
courses
support
on their
spell checking
different
and will suggest spelling
from the
corrections
different
via the
categories of
context
Resolve.
menu.
I know because I'm one of the trainers.
Both colored fonts and emojis are now supported,
Emojis.
and multi-text
Look-
now has improved position, pivot, and alignment for CSV imports.
We got emojis now.
The Fusion page now includes a speed warp tool, which uses the same powerful retiming engine as found on the edit and cut pages. There are also several user interface updates, including the ability to pop out spline and keyframes panels, vastly improved guides, viewer support for stereoscopic layers, and the ability to monitor Fusion previews through remote monitoring. A new variables system in Fusion extends Fusion's powerful scripting capabilities so that you can create your own variables in the Preferences panel under Variables Map. You can now use these new variables in expressions or in loader and saver paths. As mentioned earlier, Fusion now supports OGraph HTML graphics and lottie animations,
definitely check it
making it
out. They
easier
even
to
do like
integrate
advanced
modern
advanced
web-based
classes
and
for like
lightweight scalable
specifically
motion
of
graphics
Fusion
into your
Fairlight
workflow.
and things like that. And
And
they're
finally,
even now doing
Crocodile
like
brings
Python.
professional motion graphics creation
They're doing
directly
classes
into
for like
Fusion with
Python
dozens of
training as
powerful
well as
tools
well.
at your disposal. These industry-proven effects, now built into Fusion, unlock endless creative possibilities for stunning animations and graphics. As usual, the latest Davinci Resolve features even more format and codec support. You now have enhanced, extended, and faster MXF growing file support for broadcast and streaming workflows. Canon's CR3 and Fujifilm's RAF formats now have decode support and raw controls. Nikon's NEF and Sony's ARW formats have also seen notable improvement in decode support. And when rendering H.265, you can now use the main concept encoder for MV HEVC 420 and 422 encoding. Background rendering can now be enabled for a variety of actions, allowing you to continue working on your projects while data is being processed. Open Preferences and go to System, Background Tasks to enable background rendering operations when using the Quick Export panel or the Deliver page. You can opt to pause rendering when actively working on your project to ensure uninterrupted playback. And you can designate text transcription and proxy generation as background tasks. As you may have spotted, there are now search fields in the Preferences and Project Settings windows, which will save you time when looking for specific parameters. The Data Burn-in window has been updated for more flexible burn-in layout design. On the
I
left,
love the fact
search
that we
for the
now finally
metadata
got
you'd like
background
included
rendering.
as burn-ins. In the central column, these attributes will be added to metadata fields.
Oh, this is
Each
dope.
field has a dedicated set of overlay
I've
controls,
been waiting for something
allowing
like
you
this.
to group
It's
certain
going to make this
attributes
easier.
and
And I
quickly
got
set
a
up burn-ins
project.
and watermarks throughout
Like,
the frame.
and I'm
You can
still
type
in
within
production
fields
for
to
this
add
doc.
spaces and
That
descriptors,
a lot
and
of
use the
this stuff
tabs
is
at the top to switch between
hopefully
project-wide and
resolved
clip-specific
when it's in a
field
good state.
application.
This is going to be
When
so
done,
sweet to
go to the Options
use.
menu to save your layout as a preset. We hope you enjoyed learning about these new additions to DaVinci Resolve 21. Thank you for watching.
So you can see it's a big update. Also, there was mention of the Crocodile motion effects and graphics tools. Now, we've done a few acquisitions recently, and one of them was the Crocodile effects package. So these effects will now be included in DaVinci Resolve, and that's over 70 amazing effects that will be built in. So I have a quick demo reel that shows you what some of those effects can do. So let's play the Crocodile demo reel.
So they bought Crocodile? Oh, wow. Oh. So many people, man, so many people are going to, man, there are so many third parties that had plugins set up for Resolve that are going to be RP because of this.
So I think these all look amazing, and they're all fusion effects. So you can build, you can build on them and customize your own styles. So overall, this is a huge update for DaVinci. Now we'll be posting a public beta to our website today. Now DaVinci Resolve 21 is a free download, so the update will also be free. But the full DaVinci Resolve Studio 21 update will also be free of charge. Now, I think
still
at some
free.
point,
Yeah.
some of these larger updates, we could have an upgrade charge, but we haven't really charged for any of these upgrades yet. And the reason is because we have a lot of people a lot of people buying DaVinci Resolve Studio. So that's helping pay for the engineering team. So I really want to thank you and thank everyone who's purchased the full DaVinci Resolve Studio. It's paid for all these new features.
Thank you, Blackmagic.
So it'll be a really nice upgrade for everyone. Please download us and the software update and let us know how you go. I'm really very interested to see how people use the new photos page.
It's still free.
I think there'll be a lot of little tweaks and improvements we can make on that over time, but that's the fun part. Okay, lastly, we've got a few price changes to some products. There's been some crazy flash memory costs happening all over the last few weeks, and so prices have shot up on multiple times the original price. It's been crazy. So what we've done is we removed the 8 terabyte media module from the Blackmagic Ursa Cine 17K65 body-only model. That's the one that's just the body without any of the accessories. And we've replaced it with a CF Express module. So now you can record on CF Express cards at lower frame rates and lower quality, but it makes the camera much more affordable. And it's really important if you just want the body and you already have media modules, you don't need to be forced to buy a media module every time you get the camera, particularly the body only model. We have the kits that you can buy with, more items like the media modules. So the Blackmagic Ursa Cine 17K65 body only model price will be reduced from $21,995. It'll come down to $16,995. So you can really see what a difference removing those memory modules takes with the memory prices at the moment.
Wow.
We also have a price reduction on the Blackmagic Ursa Cine Immersive. That's the original immersive camera. You might have noticed that the 100G model is actually less than the 10G model. That we've got a new lower price for the Blackmagic Ursa Cine as well, immersive as well. And it's really manufacturing improvements. We've been automating more and getting better at building the cameras, so it brings down the cost. So the Blackmagic Ursa Cine Immersive will be reduced in price from $29.95. It'll come down to $24.95, which is a much better price. So that's about all for this update. We've covered quite a lot of products and updates we've been working on.
So no autofocus.
So it's been really great to be able to explain everything and to share some of our thoughts on how we're designing these products. And Plus, we give you a bit of a glimpse of some of the future
And the fact that it's
roadmap for
free
these workflows.
is worth
I want to
it.
thank everyone at Blackmagic Design. Everyone's worked
So, yeah,
really
no
hard
firmware
on all
updates.
this new equipment.
That's it.
But thanks
So-
for watching, and if you're heading to the show, travel safely, and I'm really looking forward to having some great conversations about all these new products, and so take care, and bye for
All
now.
right.
See ya.
All right, so that is it, everybody. So it's a lot, but that's why I said I always was like, let's be prepared that there isn't. We have to be prepared. I think a lot of us, we were all expecting the autofocus update. Doesn't look like it's happening. So that is disappointed. I think that's the one we were probably the most excited about. No new Pixis cameras, no new updates to that for us. So, so yeah, on that side, I could say it's definitely disappointing. So I guess I'm not pulling this guy out. So I guess I'm not pulling this guy out. Oh well. But that Resolve update, honestly, that was worth it alone. Like all the update to Resolve to me is it. I think if it was Resolve and the autofocus, if they just added nothing else, I think that would have been great. And obviously, there's some new ones with the broadcast stuff, with the cameras that they're doing more of that integration and go into that workflow, and it's cool to see that. I know for most of us, that is not necessarily a workflow that we're in. Now, if you are in that workflow, because especially if you're working with a lot of these AV production companies, I think that's going to be cool. To me, the big ones are their audio mix, their Fairlight Live. As someone who used to do audiovisual, who was an audiovisual technician and worked in the AV space, that thing is cool. And they got a console panel. I think those are going to be very, very successful. So that's, to me, the second big one. But obviously, the big one is Davinci Resolve. We got photo editing. We have so many different updates. So many different updates to Fusion. All the new AI features. And the fact that it's still free, we're still getting this update. We're getting Resolve 20. Even the Studio, if you have Studio, you can update to 21 for free. That says a lot. And the fact that people are continuing, that says a lot. That they're still getting support for it. I'm going to go through Resolve. I'm probably going to go through Resolve Studios and take a look. But yeah, I want to hear what you guys thought. I know it's a long one. Are you disappointed that there's no autofocus? Are you disappointed that there wasn't any additional new cameras? I mean, we did get those newer versions of the Ursa City 12K and the Immersive, but it's a very niche area. But that's what I expected this year. Again, like I mentioned, with the chips, with the chip situation and all the SSD storage things, I didn't expect like a very, very high popular market to really be the focal point. But I did at least expect for some updates to the autofocus. But yeah, let me know. I'm gonna go through these chats real quick because we're already approaching 3 hours of streaming. We got 122 people in stream right now. Thank you all so much for sit through. Let's go through. Risk says this could have been 45-minute stream with sole focus on Resolve. Yeah, but and I agree. Like, if they just focus on Resolve, because I know that's what most of us here that are watching was. But Blackmagic's background has always been broadcast. And honestly, let's be clear, people. This is the NAB update, the National Association of Broadcast. Like, I don't know how Blackmagic cannot go to a broadcast conference and not really dive into their broadcast products. So I get it. I would love it if there was like a stream down or maybe just segment things off. I think that would have been cool. So I totally agree, but I also get it. And the broadcast is really their bread and butter. Is really what makes all of this happen. It's all those broadcast products. audio was really good for the ATEM, but no cloud update is crazy. Yeah, yeah. Maybe there's more details. This is what they just could put into like. Again, this was what they could put into for the stream, so maybe. They really didn't need to do Pixis after all the issues. Maybe autofocus next year. Yeah, like I said, that's one of the things I said. I said I don't expect any new cameras or at least any new Pixis. I didn't anticipate any Pixis, and I'm glad I didn't overhit myself. I think, but once we heard a few new cameras, I think we all kind of got excited because it was like, okay, but yeah, I agree. It's like to me the Pixis cameras are really good as they are, and I could go ahead and put this in, and I could also let me take this off. Also take this off and put this on, and then I can turn this off. But yeah, I agree. I agree with that. So let's see here. That's the best is watch the death of Lightroom. Yeah, that Resolve update. Now that we got photo editing, ooh, and it's still free. That's the thing I can't even get over. It's still a free update if you have Resolve. If you got the studio again, it's only $300. It's only $300, and think about it. For $300, you already get this. I know I forgot somebody put in the comments like, yeah, man, I didn't buy it. I'm so glad I waited. But the thing is, if you have bought Resolve, even if you went all the way back to like Resolve 15, 16, if you, oh, come on, don't focus on the lady that I put back there. Focus on me. Even if you bought Resolve 15 and then you upgraded to 21, it's still free because you already have Resolve Studio in there. It's still a free update. That's the crazy thing. I'm upset no update to Pocket 4K. Okay, I understand, man. But it's like I said, I didn't anticipate any camera updates. Hashtag the death of Lightroom. Yep. Oh yeah. I can already see all the YouTube. I can already see right now all the YouTube content creators are going to come out with their faces like the death of Adobe, the Adobe killer, the Lightroom killer. It's coming. Like, next 24, 48 hours, you're just going to see everybody. And look, I agree. I think this is going to be, I think it's going to definitely take a hit because, I'm sorry, Resolve is just more stable. It's a more stable program than Adobe. Even at this point, with all the updates Adobe's done, Resolve is still much stable. And now you get to do photo editing? Crazy. No Pixis. Yep. No. Yeah. That's the only thing I'm sad about. That there was no autofocus update. I think that's the only thing I'm sad about. That was. Davinci stuff was great. They can't hit homers for a camera perspective every time. The price yeah, that one is. That's the one that all. That's the other thing. I'm like, wait. I like it. Of course, Grant Petty has to do it in the most Grant Petty way, where he's like, oh yeah, by the way, our 65 millimeter camera, yeah, we reduced the price to $17,000. All right, bye guys. He does it in the most Grant Petty way, and that's why I love him about it. The Pixis was repaired and it matches the Ursa Parkway. Yeah, I mean, look, they did the recall, and I've done it. Actually, have a video on my own channel. You guys can check it out. I showed images side by side of where I had the original camera that was part of that recall list, and then a new one that had the new hardware, and you can check out the results. Now but the thing is, mine didn't even have that, like a lot of the issues everybody else had, but there still was improvements. So, and by the way, you could still, if your Pixis 12K is in that category, you still can turn it in for free. And I think they gave you like a 3-year chance to turn it in, which is cool of them. They will probably announce autofocus update and a firmware update. That's possible. Not disappointed in the lack of autofocus update. I shoot Sony, so it wasn't a true interest for me. Okay. Awesome. All right. Resolve Photo opens up the possibility of a true hybrid camera in the future. That actually, yo, that's actually a good perception, Jonathan. I actually with you at that. Like, yeah, they're again. I think just because of the chip shortage, I think we're probably going to be like a year, 2 years out before we see something like that. Because it's just not going to make sense given the more global macro economic situation. But I'm with you, man. I think, yeah, a true hybrid coming, I can see that. 12K no elephant really sucks. It's a shame. Resolve was great, but that was disappointing. Yeah, look, I agree. Like, yeah, I was really hoping for 12K autofocus, and I was ready for it. But alas, it's not here. But still, the little what we did get was still really good. Yeah, the Ursa 65 drop into 17K is insane. That is on par with the V Raptor and Eterna. Yeah, like I said, that I think is like, it's like, man, it's like, how can we make this more accessible? So I guess my guess it is that they're taking out the media cards, but that's still interesting that they've dropped it that much. The Resolve update is packed. No, it is packed. And as soon as I end this stream, I'm going to download and start playing with it. But also I gotta take care of things. I got still got taxes to deal with because I've been waiting for this last bit of stuff for my taxes, and I finally got it. So I got to handle it. So I'm gonna crank those out for a while. I was wrong. The photo edit is dope. Yeah. I'm a little disappointed in the autofocus. They didn't mention anything. Yeah, I wish they did. Like I said, I agree. Totally agree with that. The 17K is gorgeous too with those lenses. Cool. Yep. PhotoTab will be industry changing. First, proper alternative to Adobe subscription-based model. Finally, proper color tools for photo editing. Yeah, and like, look, I've actually edited. Now I haven't edited raw photos, but I've actually edited like JPEGs and HEIF photos in Resolve, and it works very well. And the beauty is that it's like you can make a color pipeline that just works. So that's great. So download isn't there yet. It usually takes them probably like 10 minutes for it to get updated, but hopefully it should be there soon. But I can't wait to try it out. All right, you guys are chatting here. Where is generated film for? Yeah. My guess is they're still working on it. It's not fully there yet. But I'm glad. But it's interesting that they're still putting out other AI. The one that I really really do like is the fact that you can now do like IntelliScript or IntelliScript or like do an edit based on people's faces and things like that. That was dope. It's a speed booster with Mamiya lenses. It's gorgeous. Yeah. You know, there's actually, I think Kipon has a PL to Mamiya 6.5 adapter that has like a lock-in version of the Mamiya 6.5. But they have a PL to Mamiya 6.5 adapter that you can adapt to PL to PL mount, and then it'll connect to Mamiya lenses. So that is an alternative. That's also one that you can also do as well. Kipon, and I believe Kipon, that's a Kipon adapter. I can't. 3 hours, almost 3 hours, and I can't talk. Yeah, not gonna update Resolve for a while. Great updates, but don't need the beta tester. Yeah, like I said, but hey, also that's why I've been here for, to try all that well. I do, yeah. I'm okay without to me, the way I have my Pixis monitor, my Pixis setup, the one I have is fine. But I totally get why everybody would love a 7-inch monitor, and I totally understand, and I think that should be. Hopefully that will come hopefully that will come later. Oh, you're definitely getting the new monitor. So you're going the the Ursa City studio monitor. We'll see. All right, cool. Appreciate it. Okay, you guys are chatting. Yeah, this is I think this is sort of also goes into result. Like I don't know how I remember. Yeah, I remember when Davinci Resolve was just a color grading software, and it cost $30,000. I still remember that day. And then Blackmagic bought it, and basically just gave the program to everybody who bought their cameras. And over time, they've just turned like seeing where Davinci Resolve was from in its early stage, where Davinci Resolve used to be, to where it is now is just, it's an amazing thing. It's an amazing thing. Yeah, Adobe is cooked, man. I'm gonna have to leave soon and go. My nose, it's been cold down here, and being sitting here for so long, it's getting, my nose is getting stuffy. Let's see here. This is a bottle would have dropped to $1,000. Yeah. I knew if I waited, the 17K would be much more affordable. Like, yeah, I mean, yeah, Blackmagic, but it's like Blackmagic and Red. It's like you, at the end of the day, it's market price, and prices. Look, cameras tend to go down. Of course, unless you're a Sony FX3, then for some weird reason you just increase in price for no apparent reason. But most cameras that have an actual sane, life cycle, you tend to go down in price. So I'm cool with no autofocus on the 12K. Great comfort feature, but I'm used my 6Ks for that. Yeah, I actually, and I'll do a video. I'll sort of get behind the scenes. I actually did a shoot where I basically used the cinema camera 6K on a gimbal and used the autofocus on that camera for that. And basically that's all I used it, had it for. So, and I did it, and what I love about it is, like, with this setup, I didn't have to put any, like, huge setup with a monitor or stuff. I just had it there, and then I could just have the camera right there with autofocus. I don't have to set up a crazy rig. The only thing is I just had a external power just run into the power tap just to preserve the life. But that was something I just clamped to the side of the gimbal. So the fact that I've now got where, especially with Blackmagic cameras came where they used to be, how they were like, nobody want to do with gimbals. Most people probably still don't want to use these for gimbals because these are still big and heavy. But the fact that they're much more manageable for gimbal uses now, and autofocus has a big deal to that, again, says a lot how far we came. Yep, 17K for 17K. So I'm definitely going to talk about that. I'm definitely going to talk about a price drop with Blackmagic sales. So let's wrap this up because I know you guys have been with me for 3 hours, and again, appreciate it. I just hope they make some kind of ND adapter for the Pixis at some point. I know there's problems with how that would work. Yeah, I would love to see that too. Look, if Canon can figure out to make an ND adapter, I'm pretty sure Blackmagic could too. I would love to see it. And if they're they build mounts, well, the only problem with the Pixis is that the mount is not designed to be interchangeable. So basically you would have to build a whole new mount system for it. That's the only thing. So you can't interchange the mount. So I think it was a great update. Cameras, due to global situation going on, I don't see a new camera till next year. We're completely on the same page. And yes, Blackmagic has announced cameras at the end of the year before, but just from my experience, again, we may see some more stuff, but I personally was just saying, especially if you're going into something like IBC, because that's really the only other time that I would see them maybe doing like another announcement like this, because they don't do the announcement like this for NAB New York or City Gear or B&H Build, even though Blackmagic is at outside of City Gear. But I do know Blackmagic is at B&H Build. They're at NAB New York. They don't really do major announcements there. It's the only major where they'll do a major announcement is IBC is during IBC time. So that's probably the next time we may see some updates. But even then, I just don't see it, just because of the whole chip situation. All right. So yeah, that's why I said keep on. Yep. Yeah, I was hoping for a video assist too. Yeah. Davinci videos are coming out now. Oh yeah, so yeah, the videos, like I said, they're gonna have videos, and there's class sessions that they do, and usually if you go to the website, you should be able to find where some people may just do some classes on how to just get you started on the different programs or the different windows. So one that's specifically focused on color, one that's specifically focused on fusion, one that's specifically focused on Fairlight and audio. Now there's definitely going to be a photos probably course class, and there's usually a beginner's guide. Now, like I'm certified to teach the beginner's guide of at least 20. Now it's probably going to be a while before you get the trainer's guide for 21, but yeah. But all right, we're 3 hours, so let's. My favorite update is Resolve will automatically search for slate. Yes, that was the other one. Search for slate and update the metadata based on the slate. That is going to be so huge. It's these little things that if you're actually when you're in a production world, when you're working with multiple parties, this will make the whole thing work so much easier. But yeah, I think I'm going to wrap this up. I want to say thank you guys for joining me on this live stream. I can't talk. I'm getting tired. I've been sitting for so long. But thank you guys so much. This has been a joy, and always conversating with you guys has been a blast and a pleasure. As always, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, subscribe and keep an eye out, because particularly the updates for Resolve, I'm definitely going to keep an eye out. I may download Fairlight Live and give it a test out and see how it works. Put my AV skills back to work. But yeah, I'm definitely going to be putting videos out for that. So keep an eye out for that. And as always, until next time, take care, everyone.